What does MAGA mean?
Make America Great Again.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
How'd
All
you
right,
not know that?
thanks.
Okay. Alrighty. Alrighty, let's go to the next person, everybody. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates, everybody. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
You eat dogs in your own country. Could be worse. You could be scouse eating dogs in your council.
Let's go to the next person. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates, everybody. Yo, what's up? How old are you? How old are you? We are 4.5 minutes into my stream, by the way. What is going on today? Yo, what's up? How old are you?
What's going on, Parker? I'm 34.
Do you support Donald Trump?
Yes, I do, Parker.
Okay, if you could go back in time and you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris, who would you rather vote for?
Donald Trump.
Okay, why is that?
I honestly believe that the way the last 4 years went in the country with Obama and last 8 years with Obama and Harris and Biden, it really doesn't show that the country's going in a positive direction financially. I honestly believe both the Republicans and Democrats can't get this done. Can't. So neither of them can. But the way Donald Trump has been leading the country, especially when his previous experience and going into this time, he has a lot better chance of doing it. He's been doing pretty well besides the files, which he definitely should be releasing. I agree with you and everybody in the Democratic Party. Release the damn files and get it over with so we can stop hearing about it. But other than that, between what's going on around the world and in this country, we need some control over many states, not just the Democratic states, some Republican states also. But do you believe so, Parker? You think we should have a little bit more control?
Depends on what you specifically mean by control. And I would say that Obama wasn't the last president, or wasn't president in the last 8 years. That was specifically Trump and Biden.
Yeah, 12. Apologize for the
Sure,
that,
that's
but yes,
fine. That's fine.
I'll just talk about the Democrats. Over the last 12 years, pretty much that controlled, outside of Trump. But
And
yeah,
I think
go
that
ahead.
Democrats did a better job than Trump. And I can point to specific reasons as to why. What reasons would you agree with Donald Trump on?
So the more the one I want to focus on, maybe inflation. I think we can probably go on this topic the easiest. Inflation in 2021 was leading into some of the highs. We had an average of 2.4 or 2.6 with peaks of 4%, and then 8% in 2022. We did go down after that, going into 23 and 24. I think even currently right now in the month of October, I think the last report was, well, for September was 2.9%, and they're expecting maybe to hit 2.5%, which was the average under the Biden administration. But even previously when Trump was in, the inflation was nowhere near 3 or even 4%. Do you agree?
Okay, well, I do think that that wasn't caused by the Biden-Harris administration. I think that was due to global inflation that happened around the entire world because of inflation caused by the pandemic and supply chain issues. I think that was the main reason why there was inflation. And I do think that Trump's administration's policies have led to greater levels of inflation than what we would have seen if the Biden-Harris administration were in office.
Yeah, I mean, the pandemic we can't account for much, right? When Donald Trump lost and Biden came in, a lot of people believe that the economy recovered because of numbers, when obviously we know those numbers were inflated because we lost so many jobs, people were out of work, people weren't even making any money and stuff. The economy is also impacted and inflation also rises too. So a lot of things do come into effect because of the pandemic. So we can take both sides of those. But the numbers do reflect over the following years. The pandemic did linger for many years after, but we didn't really recover financially. In many of the states, inflation continued to rise, even statewide, Democratic and Republican, which led the country to peak at 8%, which is crazy, which is, is like 3 times, almost 4 times than the average. So yeah, those are just some numbers I wanted to go over with you.
If you look at the global inflation around the world, you also saw that it spiked to that same degree. That's not because of the Biden-Harris administration's policies. It's because of the supply chain issues relating to the pandemic. So
yeah, so why weren't the policies? If the policies helped
not
fix
just
them,
Alpha, there was Delta and Omicron. Right, it went in
Correct.
2022. That is a reality.
Correct.
I did lives and I was still talking about it back then. And if you want to,
I got it. Unfortunately, it sucked. And I even got we still have it now. We're still dealing with new strands of COVID currently. Right now, I believe there's 2 of them that are really surging around the United States. The one that starts with an S, and there's another one that's really crowded around the New York, New Jersey area. That's where I'm from. So we're going to have some, continued strains on the system because of inflation. Of course, the global inflation is there too, but the United States being such a strong country, one of the strongest, we should have been able to fight against inflation better than 4%, especially after the peak. After the pandemic, which was in 1920, and we're talking about 2022 was the peak. That's several years later after the pandemic. So if the administration did want to get down inflation, I think they could have done a better job somewhere around 2.5.
What could they have done?
Bring them down instead of keeping them to go up.
By doing what?
They could have done. You tell me, Parker. I'm just talking about the simple numbers of inflation. You know a little bit more about what they could have done.
I want you to let me know. What could they have done? Because it sounds like you think that they could have done something.
I don't know personally what they could have done. Maybe some of the things Donald Trump could have done focused on the market a little bit. Maybe the tariff thing has been going good for him. The tariff thing has been going good for him, right?
Inflation is dealt with by the Federal Reserve. Mm-hmm. So the Federal Reserve deals with it. Okay, right now when inflation is trending up, Donald Trump was trying to get Jerome Powell to reduce interest rates, which would cause upward pressure on prices and cause even more inflation. We're on a trend up of inflation. It was 2.3% in April. Now it's 2.9%, and it's continuing to trend up. So you explain to me, why isn't it trending down under Trump?
It trended down from the last administration, the last year-to-year date. Of course, it's going to trend up because of the pressure right now that we're dealing with, especially with the U.S. dollar being down 10%. We are shifting into a more electronic payment system globally. As you know, the U.S. is leading the crypto industry, which is why gold, silver, and crypto is doing extremely well. And most of the dollar values around the world, including the U.S. dollar, continue to decline. It's a shift in currency. It has nothing to do with what the fuck's going on globally.
What? You think that the inflation undergoing under the Trump administration is because of a shift in currency usage?
The collapse of the U.S. dollar being down 10% as the Democratic Party complains about it has to do with the way the world is shifting towards electronic payments.
So then less people would demand it. So less people would demand the dollar. Therefore, the dollar would go down in value, right? So you're arguing...
Keep going.
Okay, so you're arguing that that this is enough of a pressure to specifically cause 0.6%. No, it's because of the tariffs. Since April is when the tariffs were implemented. Tariffs put upward pressure on prices. We know this because it is the case. That's the main way that they would incentivize an increase in domestic production.
So 0.4% increase. I see what you're saying. It is up from the beginning of the year. 0.6, but it is still
from the implementation in April.
Yeah, 0.6 from April till now. But if you're talking from just the 4 years of the Democratic administration, but the average was 2.6, and then the peaks were way higher. How are you telling me that we're better now in the last 8 months than we did in the last 4 years of your administration? That does not check out, Parker.
What do you mean in terms? Are you saying we're better off in terms of inflation?
We are currently doing worse in the last 6 months. The 6 months that you just explained, but if you go back 4 years, we are doing significantly better inflation-wise.
What? You look the past 4 years, we're doing better inflation.
So
we had higher inflation, but what you're not realizing, and for some reason this is a really big issue with you, is that just because two things are associated does not mean one caused the other. Just because it happened under the Biden administration does not mean it was caused by the Biden administration. What did the Biden administration do to cause that? Because I can point to the specific things that Trump did to cause this.
So you're saying, so the Biden administration was not responsible for inflation rising in 2021 to 2024?
No.
Jesus Christ. Okay, that's all. That's all.
No. Actually, debate me on it. Don't just run away.
Right there.
Don't just run away. Actually, debate me on it.
Explain to me.
I have a degree in economics. Explain it to me. I have a degree in economics. Explain it to me.
So if 2019 was the pandemic, and we even go to 2021 and 22, where we had some of the obvious peaks in inflation, following the years that I explained where they were still high, how is that not Biden's fault? Go ahead.
No, tell me, what did he do to cause that?
It doesn't matter what he did. The inflation numbers were high, so whatever he did obviously.
So that's a correlation causation fallacy. If you took a basic statistics course, they would tell you just because two things are associated does not mean one causes the other. For example,
where does the inflation in the United States rise?
Listen.
Go ahead.
For example, during the context of the summertime, there's an increase in the percentage of ice cream consumption, and there's also an increase in the violent crime. Do you think the increase in the ice cream consumption is causing the increase in violent crime?
No.
Okay, so just because two things are associated does not mean one caused the other. So give me a specific thing the Biden-Harris administration did that caused inflation, rather than just saying it increased under their admin.
Violent crime is actually known to be more in the summer, so that was nice. So people tend to do more shit in the summer than when it's cold in the winter. So that's a different correlation to the economics of. I understand you have an economic degree, but if the numbers are higher and the person who is president who is responsible for inflation. Very similar how Trump is in, inflation is higher now, and you are complaining about inflation.
Because of the policies that he's passed, such as tariffs that put upward pressure on prices, which is the very basis of them, so that they can specifically incentivize you to buy domestically produced goods.
Okay.
I'm sorry, that's the basis of how tariffs operate. I'm not just telling you this. Economists will tell you this.
In 2016...
Hold up, listen.
Okay, go ahead, finish. I'm going to go back further for you. Go ahead.
I get you. I'm telling you specifically what Donald Trump did that would put upward pressure on prices, and you're not telling me anything the Biden-Harris administration did that would put upward pressure on prices.
We're being strained. Prices of everything, living, rent, housing, everything went up, even statewide. I can even give an example. New Jersey has the worst that we've ever done with a Democrat running the state. The last few years, we have ran up by, a $4.5 billion deficit? So that just gives you an example of spending that your administration did. Letting in 15,
You're not even talking
13,
about the federal government.
13 million
about the federal
people.
Government? This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
13 million people is a complete
13
misnomer and a false number. The
What, 9
deficit
million,
actually was
7
worse under
million?
Trump. Did you know that
How many people?
Did you know that
Go
Trump
ahead.
signed off on $4 trillion more debt-related spending, according to the Committee for Responsible Federal Budget, comparative to
Did you know that
Biden-Harris
Obama
administration?
let 1.9 million people into the United States and then deport them illegally without due process?
We could
Did you
talk
know that?
about whatever separate claim you want to make in a second. Can we
Exactly.
address that
And
deficit?
he was a Democrat without due process.
Can we
by the way.
address this? Can we address that in a second? As soon as we talk about the deficit first.
Sure, the deficit. Go ahead.
Yeah. So Trump signed
So
off on $4 trillion more debt-related spending comparative to the Trump administration, right? Over in
So
his first administration.
the last administration
Fuck, let
spent
me
4
speak.
times as more than
Fuck,
Trump?
let me, dude. I'm about to mute you because you won't let me speak. I'm
You
trying
can
to
mute me.
explain
It's
it.
okay. I'm not yelling. You're yelling.
I'm trying to explain it to you, and you keep cutting me off. Please let me explain, okay?
Go ahead.
Trump signed off on $4 trillion more debt-related spending comparative to the Biden-Harris administration, according to the Committee for Responsible Federal Budget, under his first term. The Committee for Responsible Federal Budget indicates for this term that he's going to do $4 trillion more comparative to Harris's administration's campaign plans. Right, so both administrations, Trump signs off on more debt-related spending. If you actually cared about the deficit, you wouldn't support
Correct.
Trump.
He is signing off on way more this year than he did in his previous 4 years in administration. I agree with that. But the last administration also spent, 2 or 3 times more than Trump did? So everybody's spending way too much. And that's why inflation has gone up for both administrations, didn't matter who was president. And that's why inflation continues to rise here and around the world. So Trump, obviously his numbers aren't amazing, but 2.6 is a lot lower than 4%, which impacts why he was in president. The Democrats are in president, and that's why the inflation was so high.
Okay, so you're saying what causes higher inflation is spending too much. Trump signed off on more debt-related spending. Therefore, under your view, Trump caused more inflation.
That's why the numbers are where they're at, what we're talking about, right? At the 2.6%.
So Trump caused more inflation?
Yes, by spending more. Very similar how the Democrats did the same thing. That's why inflation was so high. They were spending money.
Trump caused more inflation in comparison to Democrats because it is the case that Trump signed off on more debt-related spending.
I understand you know that he signed off on more debt, but it's still not impacting on the numbers. That's why the numbers are lower in his administration than previous. You are correct,
So then you're
Parker.
arguing that spending too much is not the cause for inflation. What is the cause for inflation then?
The cause of inflation is the spending. That's my arguing.
So
but
if it's not the spending
reflecting
and
on
Trump signed off on more debt-related spending, then it would be the case that Trump caused more inflation, correct?
Yeah. Yes, that would be correct, but the numbers are not reflecting to what you're saying,
Okay, so
right?
No, that's actually what you're saying. That's your argument. Your argument
that's
is
not my
that
argument.
they spend more, that causes more inflation. Trump spent more, and it's not
That's your
causing more
argument.
inflation under your view. Also, you have to acknowledge that the inflation that these different types of policies in terms of spending cause takes years to compound.
Yeah, so you're saying it takes 4+ years for inflation to compound going into the next administration?
I think that, again, the inflation that happened under the Biden-Harris administration originally was, again, global inflation due to supply chain issues relating to the pandemic. But yes, there was some of it that was related to the tax policies and the deficits that Donald Trump actually went under his administration. Obviously, some percentage is that. Do I think it's the overwhelming percentage? No, but it's to some degree.
Okay. No, I agree. I agree.
And if you're going to say that spending causes inflation, well, then Trump's worse off for that. Therefore, he caused more inflation. So you have to give some different cause specifically for inflation that would get you to say that it would have been caused specifically by Biden. It seems like you can't provide that, though.
No, I don't. I don't have an answer to that. I just know a lot of the spending that both administrations have done does increase inflation. That's why we've seen terrible numbers across the board. And this year alone, food and everything has gone up, of course. And I agree with you. Trump is definitely not helping those situations. Well, at the end of the year, if we end up at 3-4%, I'll come back in here and we'll definitely talk about it. But if we end the year at 2.5%, that'll show that inflation's still held against all the spending, which could impact next year's report, which we won't see obviously right till month to month.
So again, inflation is trending up. It's going to continue to trend up because we reduced interest rates because the jobs reports was so bad that we thought there were possibly going to be stagflation. Right, so there was a greater risk of stagflation in terms of a reduction in GDP due to the lower jobs reports numbers, right, comparative to the increase in the level of inflation that we would undergo. But we're still going to undergo levels of inflation, and we're still going to undergo losses in terms of our economy. So that's going to continue. Real GDP growth has gone down since Trump got in office. Unemployment's gone up since Trump got in office. The jobs report was so bad that Trump fired the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and then he fired after firing them, he claimed that it was politically biased information, right? And then the person he put into office indicated even less jobs for the next month. So clearly,
what was the last job report? Was it minus 18K? What was it? It was a lot, right? It was minus something. What was the last job report? Do you know?
Let me see if there's another one released.
I think it's not coming until October 15th.
Yeah, because of the government shutdown.
Yeah.
I think they did put out estimates though.
I know it was minus a lot, and there was some error, and then I don't know what the actual report was. But the jobs are definitely. I mean, the government shut down, people not working. That's definitely going to happen. Like I said, this is honestly going to be a hot mess until the end of the year. Yeah, and last time this happened too. Remember, Trump shut down the government last time. We had a crazy push in the market, did really well, and then we had the falling out in the pandemic.
No, I'm sorry. Hold up. 22,000 is horrible. Last year, if you want to do the year last year basis, that's like almost 10 times less than what we saw last year.
So it was 22K this year, and what was last year?
Last year was around like 200,000.
Yeah.
2024 October jobs report. Let me see. Okay, it's loading. Here we go. September, 254,000 jobs.
Yeah, there definitely is a huge difference between year to year. It's definitely when the government reopens, which usually this lasts 30 days to 3 months. I can tell you this will probably last till before Christmas. I know Donald Trump is not going to keep the government shut down through Christmas, or he's going to lose more voters. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens next year. I wanted to come up because you couldn't get a decent person to come have a conversation with you. I really hope that you continue doing these stages. I was in with Brian earlier today. I love hanging out with Brian on some of his stages too. So I'll come back around.
Okay. I have a question. Is there something that Donald Trump could do that would get you to stop supporting him?
No, I don't know. Release the files. That's all I care about. I'm tired of hearing.
I'm sorry. Think about this.
Besides that,
you just said no. There's nothing Donald Trump could do that would get you to stop supporting him. That sounds like a cult to me.
I think we're all living our own cults, right? I mean, obviously, if he murders people
like, for example,
and rapes kids, that's really bad.
He did murder people, right? He literally extrajudicially, without due process, murdered people on a fishing boat, right? Which you have no evidence that it was a drug boat, off of the coast of Venezuela.
The Venezuelan drug boats waters. I highly doubt the president of the United States is going to target a boat with 5 people on it and risk a bunch of shit hitting citizens.
There was no evidence of there being drugs at all. There's absolutely none. You can't just
and there's no evidence of them just being citizens and random people crossing the ocean. Right?
I'm sorry. That's the assumption that you would have for anyone specifically that's just on a boat.
Correct.
You don't just assume that people on boats are doing things wrong, innocent until proven guilty. Correct.
Correct. But were they also proven to be traveling across the ocean safely as regular people trying to escape some country? I highly doubt they're escaping Venezuela without drugs.
You're not listening. You're not listening. No evidence of there being drugs. Even if there was, that does not justify the death penalty. Okay, murdering them. You can arrest them when they get into your own jurisdiction, but you cannot do so, 1, in international waters, and 2, you can't murder them.
I definitely think targeting multiple boats in Venezuela without the proper procedure is pretty unethical. So yeah,
That's
if it
murder.
continues, I think it's effed up. Yeah.
So,
Correct.
So again, would that get you to stop supporting him?
Yes, if he kept targeting random civilian votes in the ocean, and we knew for a fact that they weren't carrying drugs, and this came out in multiple
No,
circumstances.
hold up. There was just
I would
no
consider.
evidence that they had DRUGS. No evidence.
If there was no evidence of drugs, and he targeted boats, and there were 100% just civilians escaping Venezuela, I would definitely consider not voting for him, because that is
Consider?
murder. Yes,
Why just
if they
consider?
were,
Why wouldn't
if-
you just say I wouldn't support him?
I wouldn't support him if he was murdering citizens. Correct.
Well,
I would not support
wait,
him
again,
if that
these aren't
came out.
citizens. I don't know why you're saying citizens. These aren't citizens. These are.
If they
these are
were
pe-
if there were human beings traveling
People from
across the
another
ocean
country.
from Venezuela, and they were targeted by Donald Trump and killed in cold murder, and there was proven
in
that they were
international waters, which is a war crime
waters,
because
and it
it's
was
in
proven
international
that they
waters.
were just traveling. Yes, I would never vote for him again.
How would we? Again, there is no evidence that they have DRUGS. How are we supposed to prove that they were quote unquote just traveling? They just made a claim, and we're supposed to prove that they're wrong on their claim. Why don't they specifically prove that they're right on their claim?
If this happens again, we'll have evidence, right? If this is something that happens once or twice, obviously they're
No,
dead.
hold up.
We can't prove
Hold
it.
up, I'm sorry. You can't just say I murdered this person. I have no evidence that they did any wrongdoing, but I feel like they possibly did. What? That's literally a trust me, bro, for fucking murdering people. I'm sorry, that's crazy. How do you not see that? How do you?
No,
not,
I
how
do
you not
see it. That's why I
insane?
said I wouldn't vote for him if he was murdering
And
people.
you know
So
it's
yes,
happened
if he
4 times,
continues-
right?
4 times. Okay, so if it continues to happen and there's proof that
How many
they
more
did
times
not
does it
have
need to happen?
weapons,
How many more times?
How many? Out of the 4 times, all 4 times they were confirmed that there weren't drugs or weapons on the
Again,
boat.
there was no evidence that there was drugs.
Or weapons on the boats. None of them.
Not to my knowledge, not at all in terms of weapons.
All right, I'll look a
no
little
evidence
into-
of
I don't-
drugs.
I personally have not looked into these cases, so I don't know. So I'll spend some time. I'll look into all 4 of them and see if there's anything on.
How many more
at
times
all.
would it have to happen for you to be like, this is so bad that I'm not going to support him anymore?
That 4 is enough. So if I do the research and I come back, we'll definitely talk about it. I don't know enough. If you want to look them up live,
if you do the research and you find out that there's no evidence that they had weapons or DRUGS, then you're saying
2028, I'll go Democratic, and I'll even send you the picture.
Okay.
As long as it's not Harris. She's a little nutsy.
That's 1, that's crazy. And 2, we're going to go into the next person. Because they don't support Trump anymore. Oh, God. Yo, what's up, how old are you?
Hello.
Do you support Donald Trump?
What's up?
Do you support Donald Trump?
Absolutely.
Okay. If you could go back in time and you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris, who would you rather vote for?
What happens in China stays in China. You understand?
Okay. So the next person, only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
38.
Okay, do you support Donald Trump?
I don't, and I know you're going to boot me, but I just want to say thank you.
I appreciate you very much. I appreciate you very much. I am just looking for some debates. Thank you very much, though. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Hey, how's it going, man? I'm 33.
Do you support Donald Trump?
I do.
Okay. If you could go back in time and you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris, who would you rather vote for?
I would still vote for Trump.
Okay, why so?
For me, there's obviously a lot of things with Trump. He's a very abrasive person, and he says a lot of things and has done a lot of things I don't agree with. For me, Parker, I guess my logic behind it was I was voting for the conservative movement. For me, one thing that's very important is the abortion issue. I know we probably have a different perspective on that, and that's okay, but that's why I would go back and vote for Trump.
Okay. So what about abortion? Do you think it should be illegal?
So, yeah, I think it's murder. I think it's ending an innocent life unjustly. And I think as long as we as a country allow it to happen, I'm a Christian, so we may disagree on that as well. I think, we won't have the blessing of God over our nation if we not celebrate murder, but if we allow murder.
Okay. So, who are you to determine what sin should be illegal and what sin should not be illegal?
Well, it's murder. We as a nation have decided that murder is wrong, and I don't see, since a baby's in the womb or outside
If
of
it's
the womb.
now just based upon society saying that murder is wrong, well, society doesn't agree that this is murder. So, if you want to talk
Sure,
about
that's a
it
good-
from
that's a
that
good point.
perspective, so then what is it based on? Is it based on your own personal views? Is it based on your religious views, or is it based on society's views?
No, that was a good point. I think it's murder. What's it based on? But yeah, I guess I try to live my life according to the Bible. So like some things that are important to me are to try to love others, no matter who they are, to try to put others first. Obviously I'm not perfect in it, Parker. You can ask my wife, but I do take it from the Bible that it's murder, and that we shouldn't murder. But yeah, you made a good point there, basing it on societal agreement, because in some cultures they may agree, some heinous things are okay, and that doesn't make it okay. So that was a good point on your end.
Yeah, and then if we're going to look at the Bible, well, should Donald Trump be in prison for committing adultery?
No, so I don't. I guess I don't say that every sin, because I probably told a lie today. I shouldn't, go to jail for telling a lie. So I don't think that every sin should be, punishable, by the law. But murder, I think it should be.
Okay. Well, then couldn't you also say that in certain contexts that it should be allowed and in certain contexts it shouldn't be? Couldn't you say the same thing? Couldn't you say the same thing? Because you're saying.
Should be criminally charged. However, yeah. So, but now abortion. The only time I guess I would be not okay with an abortion, because it is a painful subject, Parker, and I think for a lot of people say, "Oh, I'm pro life," but really they're just pro birth, because after a baby's born, they don't care at all. And so I'm not in that stance. I guess the only area where I would say an abortion would be, okay, would be, if the mother's life is in jeopardy, and she's going to die, giving birth to the baby, and then also it's, you could ask in the case of rape or in the case of incest. It's I don't say I have all the correct answers, but I do just view it as murder. And so that's just that. So again, that's what kind of why I voted for the conservative movement. If you can understand that,
Okay, so
I don't.
Then the point I'm saying is that should it be legal then, right, for you to get access to an abortion? You can disagree with it, you can think it's wrong, but should it be legal?
Sure.
Should you be enforcing your prescriptions in terms of your religious perspective on other people?
Well, I don't know that, people's view on murder. I don't know that, there's a lot of people who aren't Christians, or maybe who are, Muslim, or, Hindu, or whatever religion. I don't think that the murder being wrong for everyone comes straight from the Bible. So you don't have to be a Christian.
Well, so no, but not everyone prescribes this as murder, right? Because the type of life that I care
Sure.
about is medically determined life based upon sentience, subjective experience. Because we determine brain death to be like the death from a medical perspective. So if brain death is death, well then brain life in terms of subjective experience would be the beginning of medical life, and that's the type of medical life that I value. I don't just value cellular life.
So, okay, I see what you're saying. So what? So it's murder. Obviously, everyone agrees murder. An adult kills an adult. That's murder. You're saying that I'm ascribing murder to abortion based on my religion and what gives me the right to do that, because maybe you're not a Christian or someone else isn't a Christian. I understand that point. Great. Yeah, that's good. No, I understand that. And I don't know that I have a great answer for that, Parker, because for me as a Christian, I wholeheartedly believe that Jesus came and died for our sins, and I know if I live my life according to the Bible, I believe that is the best possible life someone can have. And now if you don't believe that, then that's your right, and it's not my, you know. But I get what you're saying on that point. What gives me the right to ascribe that as murder? I believe it is, and so it is based on my religion.
Yeah, so I guess like my point is that like do you think that because your religion prescribes it as an individual, right, which it does, I don't think Christianity necessarily entails that you have to say because cellular life is present that you consider it a person. Because I don't think that many Christians think that it's murder to pull the plug on an individual in your family that's brain dead, even though they're cellularly alive still.
Sure.
So, like, would that make people not Christian to view that? And if it doesn't, if they're still Christian and they believe that, well, then it seems like you can still be Christian and believe that you care about medical life. You don't have to do the cellular life thing.
No, that makes sense. There's a scripture. I can't think of where it is right at the moment, but it might be in Joshua or Jeremiah. But it says, God says, "Before you were formed in your mother's womb, I knew you." And so my perspective on life is it is formed at conception, and it's not. I don't have a particular, here at 8 weeks or 16 weeks. This is when I believe it's life. I believe as soon as the sperm and the egg meet and the zygote is formed, that there is a potential for human life, and that is life. And I believe that God views it as such. That's my perspective, Parker. And so for me to, I think outside of the womb on the left side, I think there's a ton of great policies as far as social safety nets and protecting human life. And I don't like some of the articles in Trump's big, beautiful bill that's hurting children, that's taking away food. And so I'm torn, in some areas, but for me, it came down to the abortion topic, and I wanted to be on the side that is pro-life. And so that's my perspective, Parker. And I know we probably won't agree.
I don't think that this perspective is necessarily not pro-life. Like, in a certain sense, you're pro-medical life, right? And yet being pro-medical life doesn't mean you can't be pro-choice. Does that make sense?
I'm a
pro-choice.
little
I'm
bit slow.
pro-choice, right? And
Okay.
I'm pro-medical life.
Okay. I'm not. Can you repeat that? I'm not sure I got that. I'm a little bit slow, Parker. You got to forgive me.
So I'm pro-medical life, and I'm also
Okay.
pro-choice. So I still think people should have legal access to abortion, but I also have value for personhood once it meets the point of sentience, which is around 20 through 24 weeks. That's when I morally consider it valuable.
Okay. Oh, so you are against abortion at a certain point in the fetuses or the baby's life inside the womb. Is that right or no?
Yeah, but at that point, there's only really like medical abortions occurring, right? Like it's not going to
Okay.
be like people are having elective abortions at that point.
Okay. Yeah, I understand that.
Because we're talking around 5-6 months in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know that we'll agree. But I think life begins at conception. And so that's a valuable life. And
Well, I don't disagree. I do believe that life begins at conception, but we don't value cellular life. We value medical sentient life, right? Like that we don't value the cellular life in brain dead individuals to the same degree as a person. That's why we think that the family should be able to pull the plug. We don't think that the family should be able to pull the plug if they were sentient, right? Like that would be absurd.
yeah, I think if anyone ever has to face a situation where you have a brain dead family member, it's an awful thing to go through. I think the decision making in that is not an easy one, but the brain activity that's present, it's very likely, that it's not going to improve. Right now, in the instance of a conceived life in the womb, the same brain activity that's present, the potential for that life to develop and become an individual is greatly higher. And so I don't view the termination of both those lives the same. Someone who's brain dead and has no chance outside of maybe a miracle of living, it's different than killing a life that's in a womb.
Yeah, because there's a future potential. But again, the point that I'm saying is that it then shows that you don't just care about cellular life, and what you care about is subjective experience.
Say that again. I don't care about cellular life.
The point that I'm getting from this is that you don't just care about cellular life, you care about
Okay.
subjective experience. So if you care about the medical life and the subjective experience, well, then why don't you just say that it's not wrong prior to the point in which it has medical life? Because medical life begins at 20 through 24 weeks.
Okay. Where is that defined? Where do you get that from? I'm just curious.
Neuroscience. Like it's the determination in terms of the development of the prefrontal cortex and the thalamocortical connections, integrating the mind and body
Okay.
to produce a subjective experience.
Okay. And how long do you know? And I don't know this. I'm genuinely asking you. Do you know how long that definition has been upstanding? Like who decided that? There was an individual or a consensus of medical professionals, I'm assuming, that came together and said, "Hey, this is when life begins," and then they all agreed to it, right? So,
Yeah, there's been a
do you know
bunch
how
of
long?
different studies over the past few decades in neuroscience relating to this.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So I mean, again, for me, not to keep repeating myself, but I do think that human life is valuable when it's conceived, and that is prior to this neuroscience study or whatever you just said, and you may disagree with me, but that's where I stand, and I do want to say, Parker, I've really enjoyed listening to you. I think what you're doing is great, providing a platform to have discussion. My wife, or I'm sorry, my in-laws lean more left. I grew up leaning more right, and so one thing that I have a heart for is to be cordial and try to unite both sides. And now there's some things like that maybe we can't find common ground on, and I try my best to do that. And so listening to you and hearing your side of things, you've helped me in a lot of ways, and I do appreciate your platform, my friend.
I appreciate it. Anything else you'd like to talk to or add?
No, that's all, man. I'm going to keep listening. I'm going to jump off.
All right, appreciate you. Thank you.
All right, see ya.
Alrighty, let's go to the next person, everybody. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates. Alrighty, let's go to the next individual. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
27.
If you could go back in time and you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris, who would you rather vote for?
Think Trump.
Okay. What's your birth year?
98.
Okay. 1 month.
January.
For sure. And why do you support Donald Trump?
I'm liking what he did with the border situation.
Okay. For sure. What about the border?
It dropped down to it dropped way down with illegal immigrants.
Okay, what did Trump do that was good?
Stopped more illegals from coming in.
Undocumented immigrants? By doing what?
Securing the border more.
By doing what?
Do you not agree?
I'm just asking what he did.
Securing the border more?
Yeah, but what did he do to secure the border?
Yeah, he stopped more, sent more security there? But he
Okay. What type of security did he fund? And through what bill? I can't hear you when you swipe out of the app, just letting you know.
Oh, my fault.
Yeah, I'm like, where did he send the funding
So do
to?
you not
What did they
believe,
invest in
like,
terms of security? Like, what was the
no, but do you
what
not
was the
believe like
benefit?
the borders were secure?
No,
Or
no.
why do you not believe that?
No, the borders are not secure right now. You want to know why?
Why?
Because we don't have a quick legal process for immigration. That's why the border's not secure. It would be significantly more secure if it is the case that we had a actual pathway to citizenship that was quicker.
Yeah, but are there more illegal immigrants here or less?
There hasn't been. I mean, there's still a decent amount of undocumented immigrants here. Like undocumented immigrants still exist in the country. You're just talking about undocumented
But
immigrants who
there
come
are
into the
less of
country.
them.
right?
But there's less of them, right?
Well, I think that undocumented immigrants who haven't committed a violent crime or bad crime shouldn't be deported. I think that they should be given a pathway to citizenship. So that's my perspective.
Yeah,
I don't think
I
that they
believe
should
that
be
as
gone
well.
after. Okay, so then it seems like you agree with me there.
Yeah.
Okay, so why do you support Donald Trump on that then?
The of course the border control was not. I didn't agree with Kamala or Biden. I mean, wasn't Kamala like the borders are?
No. What authority did she have at the border?
Um, she was just in charge of it, right?
But in charge of what?
Didn't Biden put her in charge?
Nope. What did Biden put her in charge of? You said the whole border?
Wasn't she
No.
borders are?
No, that was a made up thing applied to her by Republicans.
Okay, so who was in charge of the border?
There's not just
And
one person in charge of the border.
why was there so many illegal immigrants coming in through the southern border specifically?
So because there was there are a lot of undocumented immigrants coming to our country because one, the legal process takes too long. Two, it is the case that there's economic insecurity around the world because of global inflation. And three, because of the fact that there was a global pandemic and there was a limitation of people who were able to come during the context of the pandemic. So there was a backlog of people who wanted to come to the country who couldn't.
So how much people were coming in?
Do you want to do
Joe
your own
Biden's
research
day
yourself?
today.
It sounds like you're just asking me a bunch of questions at this point. Like, what's
No,
your
I'm
position?
just saying. Did you know it was over like 100,000
100,000
per
what?
day?
No, it wasn't.
What was it?
You want to go look it up yourself because clearly you were way off. Oh, you think there was 100,000 people per day?
Maybe 10, 10K per day. No, per day. Seriously.
Okay.
Illegal
So,
immigrants per day.
where do you get your information from?
Sources?
Yeah, like what?
Hold on. You want me to swipe out?
Yeah, go ahead and find them real quick. In the meantime, I'll thank a few people. Joe, thank you for the $10. Thank you so much. Wendy, thank you so much for the $5. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'm so sorry. Thank you so much, Wendy. Stephanie, thank you so much for the $10. I really appreciate it. Thank you. I did see that. I actually did see that. That's fucking insane. It's fucking insane. Chung Lee, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $50. Thank you so much on PayPal. Can we have some W's for them in the comment section right now? Thank you so much. That is so kind of you. Thank you. And Kelly with the $50. Thank you so much. Happy birthday, Kelly. Absolutely. Can we have some W's for Kelly in the comment section as well? Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. That's incredibly kind of everyone. Thank you so much. That's so nice of y'all. Absolutely so nice. Let me make sure I catch up on YouTube as well. If you're on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. If you're on TikTok, tap that screen. We have an hour and 13 minutes left on the stream for right now, everybody. And the reason is because I have therapy that I set up for 11 o'clock. But I think Dean might be ready to be on live by then, so I might be able to send everyone over there. And then as soon as Dean's done, I'm going to hop back on. Trudy, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $2. Thank you. Coffee Mom, thank you for the $2. Thank you. Sherry, thank you for the $2. Ebot, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $10. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Probably not. Neon, thank you for the $5 as well. Thank you. Yes, it's actually crazy, Neon. It's crazy. I can't believe that like Trump's trying to normalize that. It's fucking nuts. All right, everyone, give everyone a second to come back on. If you're on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. If you're on TikTok, tap that screen. Give it a second for people to join up. If you're on YouTube, let's hit that like button, everybody. Let's try to get to 2,000 for today. We have like 500 likes right now. Let's try to get to 2,000 for the 2-hour stream that we're doing right now, and then we'll be on later, everybody, as well. I'll try to do like 2-3 hours later as well. I might be on around 3 p.m. Pacific time, 3:30 p.m. Pacific time, depending on whenever Dean hops off.
Hello,
what's up?
my bad.
Did you find your media sources that you always look over?
No.
No,
Hold up. Can I come back?
Yeah, if you'd like to.
Let me just exit out. Yeah. My fault. I got you.
Okay, everybody. If you're on YouTube, TikTok, do tap that screen. If you're on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. Let's go on to the next person real quick, everybody. So the next person, only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. Yo, what's up, how old are you? So the next person, only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates, everybody. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen.
Yeah.
Yo, what's up, how old are you?
19. I was on here last time, but you said I could come back on because I got kicked off because I said WEED. But you said I could come back on.
You said what?
I said WEED, and I didn't know it was on like the
Okay,
guideline.
okay. For sure.
So I can say.
Yeah.
All right, bet. So we were talking about DEI, and so yeah, you said that more people get in through DEI that are qualified, and I think that's not true.
I don't remember the conversation, so. What do you mean? What was the context? What was that?
I said that most people get hired through DEI aren't qualified, and you said that's not true.
Yeah, DEI hires people who are qualified, right? DEI is just about diversity, equity, and inclusion, right? So it's about including people specifically to a greater extent who historically have not been included, right? And not because of the qualifications they have, but because of bigotries that exist in society.
Yeah, but like that's just like assuming not every like that's like assuming every company is racist and like they don't hire black people.
Can you just tell me what specific policy you disagree with that's DEI?
That they just let anybody get jobs. That's like their main policy.
They just let anyone get jobs.
Yeah, well they
no.
help them.
Okay, so if your issue is with people who specifically are not qualified getting jobs, why did you vote for Donald Trump?
How is he not qualified?
Can you name a qualification he has to be president?
Him being president for 4 years last time.
So to clarify, that's his only qualification? So when he was running in 2016, did you agree that he had no qualifications?
In 2016, yeah, he had no qualifications.
But who do you think should have won in 2016? Not Kamala Harris, Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump?
Donald Trump.
Okay, so you think someone who was unqualified should have been put into the position of power? Wow, it sounds like you're advocating for DEI
I
under
would
your
say
own
he was more
worldview.
qualified than Hillary Clinton with that Pizzagate. We talked about the Pizzagate, bro.
Yeah, so again, there's no evidence that that's specifically relating to anything you're talking about.
Bro,
Like,
there
literally
is
just
evidence
choose
on the
pizza.
Pizzagate. There were
Which?
people arrested. There were people arrested with the. With
Was
the,
Hillary Clinton arrested?
No.
Why not?
But
Why is it the
because-
Trump DOJ going after
Yeah,
Hillary
no.
Clinton?
Who?
How come the Trump DOJ is not going after Hillary Clinton if there's so much on her?
Didn't she lose the election because her emails got leaked?
Hold up. I'm just asking you. I'm asking you, if the Trump DOJ has so much shit on Hillary Clinton, how come they haven't charged her with anything?
I don't have an answer. Why would they charge her?
I thought you said she did all these crimes.
She did, but why?
Okay,
but,
so
like,
then why isn't the Trump DOJ like specifically charging her? Why is Trump talking about pardoning Ghislaine Maxwell and Diddy?
He did not say he was gonna pardon Diddy, bro. He did not
He
say
said
that.
he was considering it.
No, he didn't. He did not
Yes, he
say
did.
he was. He said that about the girl, not
And
not
she's
about
a
Diddy.
child sex trafficker, by the way.
Okay, bro, but like I don't know anything about her. I do know about Diddy though.
Also, I can send you an article right now. Trump considers pardon for P. Diddy after sentencing.
That's an article. Like, did Trump say himself, "I'm finna pardon Diddy"?
Say that one more time.
Did Trump himself say that he was gonna pardon Diddy?
He said that he'll consider Ghislaine Maxwell pardoned, and mentions Diddy in the same breath.
In the same breath.
Yeah.
So he said, "I'm considering pardoning Maxwell Diddy." That's how he said it. He didn't say "and Diddy." He just said "Diddy."
I can give you two separate articles. One specifically indicating that, Diddy has asked him for pardon, but specifically saying that he's considering the pardoning of P. Diddy. I can send you that from.
So the two articles say two different things, is what you're telling me.
They report on two separate things.
Exactly. So like Diddy's all right. So how about when Joe Biden pardoned Hunter? Was that okay?
I mean, did he like get convicted of child sex trafficking?
Yo, bro, have you seen the laptop leaks? I've seen them. I know you've seen them. You
I'm
did
sorry.
this shit all day.
The laptop did not indicate that he was a child sex trafficker.
Yes, bro, he was doing mad drugs off some crazy. Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. That's not like I get that he was doing drugs, but that's not like child sex trafficking. I think that's a pretty big distinction.
Bro,
Okay.
there were little kids in the videos, bro. Not little kids, but like
Wait, no,
teenagers.
where did you see that?
On Twitter.
Yeah, that's probably not the best source.
Yeah, but it's real though, bro. I know it's real.
Yeah, if you'd like to provide like an actual source for that, I'd love to see that.
I would, but that other dude swiped out and you kicked him off, so I'm not trying to risk it. So
I didn't kick him out.
Let's let you win that one.
He left.
I'll let you win that one. Well, we'll move on. So back to the DEI, right? So why? So like,
How Trump's
can you
a
give me?
DEI? You supported Trump as a DEI candidate. Not only did he get into the position of president in 2016 because of the Electoral College, but he had no qualifications.
Yeah, but like, I'm not trying to go back to the Pizzagate thing.
Interesting.
Because you're just gonna try it. Like, I can't prove it on here because like everything I'll say is gonna get me kicked.
No, it's not.
Bro, you know Hillary Clinton was at the Pizzagate with the kids. You know that there was no pizza.
I'm sorry. One, you don't have evidence of this. And
Except
two,
your apology.
if you believe this about Hillary Clinton, why don't you believe it about Donald Trump? Because he
What
was
do I
like
not
best buds
believe?
with Epstein, dude. And he's literally considering pardoning Ghislaine Maxwell. Come on, man.
But he was not best friends with Epstein. He was never
Yes,
even
he
on the
was.
island.
They were best buds. They were the closest friends for like 10, 15 years. That's what they said themselves.
Okay, but like you're best friends with Dean, right? And so
Okay,
so like say he did some crazy shit, right? Would that mean that it automatically involves you?
I think that specifically with Donald Trump's character and the things that he's done, it shows that he likely has some type of involvement. Right. Now,
You don't
again,
have any
it
proof,
depends on
though.
the
You're
context
just
of what
going
you're
off your
referencing. Just
opinion.
because someone is a friend doesn't necessarily mean that that's true.
Exactly, that's what I'm trying to tell you.
Also, Dean and I haven't been best friends for 15 years or 10 years yet, as well.
Y'all are closer than him and than Trump and Epstein were.
I don't even know about that actually, because Trump and Epstein. I mean, there's especially like a statue of them out in front of the Oval Office in the White House. Right? Did you see the statue? Did you see the statue
I
of
did
Trump and
see the
Epstein together?
statue.
There's not a statue like that of me and Dean.
I can weld. I can low key make one. What if I really?
Go ahead, and make one. Go ahead and make one. I'd love to see it.
Okay. Anyway, back to what I was saying. You just proved my own point that just
How did I
because
prove
Trump
your
was friends with Epstein does not mean that he was on the island touching
No,
kids.
that's not evidence that specifically he was on the island. It's just evidence that indicate that specifically it's likely that he did something wrong. Take into account all the other facts, like he is considering pardoning Ghislaine Maxwell, the person who is literally helping Epstein's child sex traffic. We can also point to the fact that he was on the flight logs. We can point to the fact that specifically he said that Epstein was a terrific guy and he likes beautiful women.
What flight log? Show
He
me
said
the
that
flight
Epstein.
log.
Well, this was already released under Biden. He said that Epstein was a terrific guy and he likes beautiful women as much as he does, many of them on the younger side, which is fucking nuts, right? He also specifically, he was held civilly liable of sexual abuse, said he would date a 10-year-old girl in 10 years, said he has sex in common with his daughter, said yeah to Howard Stern, calling his daughter a piece of ass, and said his daughter has always been quote-unquote voluptuous, which means sexually attractive and curvy.
Okay, but how about when Joe Biden is sniffing them kids and he says that black
What
kids
type of
are?
comparison is
Let
this?
me talk. Let me talk. Come on, man.
Go
Let me
ahead.
talk.
Go ahead.
How about when Joe Biden
Who muted me?
Me, bro. Come on. That you can't
Wow.
tell me that wasn't funny. You're like, let me talk.
Bro. Okay, so why how about when Joe Biden says
I had to do it one more time, man. I'm so
fuck
sorry. He got removed for community guidelines. I muted him and then he got removed for community guidelines. That's just brutal, dude. That's brutal. He's never going to be able to finish his point now. Oh my god. Let's go on to the next individual. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Hello.
How old are you?
Hello.
Do you support Donald Trump?
Are you stupid?
Let's go to the next person. Let's only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates, everybody. Let's go to the next person. If you're on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. If you're on TikTok, tap that screen. It'll help get it out to more people. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed here on the TikTok screen. Again, everyone, we are just looking for some debates. Alrighty. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
I'm 21.
Do you support Donald Trump?
Yeah.
Okay. If you could go back in time and you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris, who would you rather vote for?
Donald Trump.
Okay. Why so?
I think there's a problem when it comes to immigration and how much like immigrants are being let into the USA.
Okay. What's wrong with immigration?
Oh, actually, my bad. I didn't mean immigration specifically. I meant to say illegal immigration.
Okay.
Well, okay, not illegal immigration. Illegal coming into the USA.
Okay. So if undocumented immigration is bad for our system and legal immigration is good for our system, then you agree with me that providing mass amnesty for undocumented immigrants who have not committed a violent crime or bad crime would be better for our economy, our society, and everything as a whole.
Yeah. I mean, so you're saying essentially illegals would
Undocumented
be let.
immigrants.
Okay, they'd be allowed after they got caught.
Yeah, if you have not, no, actually, we would just provide an incentive for them to identify themselves to authorities to go through a vetting process by saying that if you specifically have not committed a violent crime or bad crime, that you'll be given a pathway to citizenship where you do not have to leave the country.
Yeah, but don't you think there should be I don't know how to say this. Like, don't you think? I feel like there's been too many that are coming in. Like, there has to be some kind of it's like coming overpopulated.
Too many. I'm confused. No, I don't think that there's too many people coming in. I think that we can definitely have a higher scale of immigration, and there's no issue with that. I think that's actually important for us to be able to maintain our current population and increase population for the future. The Congressional Budget Office indicates by 2050, we're going to actually have a declining population.
Well, how would we get a declining population?
Because we've been below replacement rate for fertility since like the 70s. Well, mostly since the 70s.
Okay, well, I'll be honest. I didn't think you're gonna let me up here. I just requested. To be honest, I don't even know what I'm talking about. I don't think Trump's a good guy. I just wanted to talk to you. But yeah, thanks for letting me up here, man.
Okay. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates. Caitlin, thank you for the $5. Dennis, thank you so much for the $5. Thank you so much for the kind message. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Dennis. Aubrey, thank you for the $10. Caroline, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $10 as well. Thank you so much. Everyone's so kind. Thank you, everyone. Let's go on the next person real quick. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. Carolina, thank you so much for the $2. Thank you. Yo, what's up? How old are you? Are you going live later today? Yes, I will be live for another 57 minutes or so. And then tomorrow, or not tomorrow, later today, I should be live. I think I'm going to get on like around the time that Dean gets off. And we'll be on for a few hours then. Just letting everyone know. I'm sorry that I have to split up the streams a little bit, but it's a little bit necessary. I'll try to post a video for YouTube in between. When will Dean be on? He said he might be on like right after I get off, around that time. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
I'm 10 years old, mate.
I should be on around 3:30 Pacific time. 3 to 3:30 Pacific time is when I should start my next stream for today. Just letting everyone know. Blue, thank you for the £5. Thank you. Why are you live right now? This is Dean's time. Actually, he typically isn't live yet by now. If he was, I would have waited. He said he couldn't go live yet. Because if so, I wouldn't be live right now, and I'd probably be live later, starting later. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Terrorist.
How old are you?
You're a terrorist.
How am I a terrorist?
You push agendas on people that make people brainwashed, and you're just a horrible person.
How am I a horrible person, and what brainwashed ideology?
You calling people Nazis, you calling people fascists, all these things that they're not, and it's just
I don't really call
you're
people
creating a
Nazis, but
bad
I do call
environment.
Donald Trump a fascist because he is one.
Nah, he's not.
Okay. Well, I mean, we want to go through the 14 points of fascism.
Nah, I don't want to go through anything with you. You're a coward. You're a piece of shit
It
human
sounds like
being.
you're the coward if you don't want to go through them with me.
Nah, I don't give people like you time. You're
Then why are you
making
talking on my live stream?
Republican
Why'd you wait
rights.
in my guest box to join up on my stream? Isn't that embarrassing? That's really embarrassing that you
No,
specifically
it's
think that you
embarrassing. You
wouldn't
said
give
that
me
you
any
date
of
a
your
trans
time, but
person.
yet you waited in the box to join up on the stream, and yet you specifically want to talk to me, and you're currently staying on the live stream right now. Why don't you run away, you fucking scaredy cat coward?
You said you did a trans person.
What's wrong with that? Again, you're just like, you have no response. Dude, I'm sorry. Wait, hold up. You called me a horrible person for trying to brainwash people, right? For calling people quote unquote things that they are not. But then specifically, you try to come up on my live stream, right? And you try to specifically say that I am wrong or a horrible person for calling Donald
You're a
Trump a
terrorist.
fascist when he literally is a fascist. Wait, I'm sorry. Fascist will consider anti-fascist terrorists.
Consider.
So I'm a terrorist
Consider.
to what? Fascists? I'm a terrorist to who? Fascist? I'm peacefully protesting and debating people. How the hell am I a terrorist?
You're not peaceful at all, kid.
How am I not peaceful? This
You're
is
a
totally and
coward.
100% peaceful.
No, it's not. You
How
tell
can I be a
lies to
coward?
people on the internet.
Wait, how am I a coward but also
You tell
violent?
lies to people on the internet. You tell lies to people on the internet.
What lies?
All the shit you say is all lies and made up bullshit.
Like
all
what?
these everything, dude.
Such
I don't
as?
need to single anything out.
Such as?
If Trump's such an honest man, why did he tell 30,000 lies? That's what
30,000
you
confirmed
say.
lies or misleading statements. That's a factual point. That's not a
Yeah,
lie.
confirmed. Where is it confirmed?
The Washington Post.
Yeah.
What a waste of time. Let's go on to the next person. That they got a flag by TikTok anyway. Let's go to the next person. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. Gabriel, thank you for the $5. Kelly with the $5 as well. Thank you. Caitlin with the $5. Thank you. Thank you so much. He's probably so mad at this, by the way. So very mad, I tell you. Look at that. He's in the comment section so pissed off. He's like, how can people support this guy? He's a horrible person. Oh my god. But yeah, I should have asked him if he's Antifa, because apparently the Trump administration also considers him a terrorist then. Wendy, thank you for the $5. Thank you. If you're Antifa, type 3 in the comment section right now. And then ask yourself the question, right? Who considers people like Parker a terrorist, right? Just for being anti-fascist? Well, it would probably be fascists, right? Fascists consider people who are anti-fascists terrorists, even when they don't do anything violent. Like, I'm peacefully protesting on a TikTok live debating people, and you have a guy coming up on my stream calling me a terrorist. That's crazy. B, thank you for the $10. Thank you so much, B. Yo, what's up? How old are you? How old are you? You know what? We should just ask everyone on the stream today. Are you Antifa? Yo, what's up? How old are you?
19.
Do you support Donald Trump?
Yeah, I do.
Are you Antifa?
What is that?
Are you anti-fascist?
I don't know what that is, to be honest.
Okay.
I don't know
All
much
right.
about it, to be honest.
Do you remember like World War II from history class?
Yeah.
Do you think we were Antifa during World War II?
Just because you know a lot of stuff doesn't mean you're smart. You know, there's people smart. There's
Dude, this is
smart.
like
Just hey, I just
you
want
learned
to
this
tell
in
you.
5th grade.
You?
Didn't you learn
Huh?
this in 5th grade?
Hello?
Didn't you learn this in 5th grade? I'm not trying to be smart
Carter.
here. I'm just asking you about like literally World War II, dude.
I don't know what FAFSA is.
What? I didn't say FAFSA.
You did. You were saying that. Do you know what FAFSA is, whatever? I was like, what? I don't even know what you're talking about. You said you support Trump. Say, yeah, I support the things that he do. And not he is sometimes an idiot of a person, but guess what? He is way better than Kamala Harris, and that is a fact.
How so?
That is a fact. What?
You got to come back into the stream.
Can you hear me?
He didn't know the difference between FAFSA and fascism.
Dude, I can't even hear you.
Yeah, you're
Hello?
lagging. You got MAGA Mobile. Did you buy the Trump phone?
Dude, that was good. That was a nice one. Hey, what's your thoughts on abortion?
Nice pivot.
What do you mean?
Nice pivot.
Pivot from what? The MAGA mobile phone?
No, what we were just talking about. What were we just talking about? Do you remember?
World War II?
Yeah. And do you think we were Antifa, anti-fascist during World War II? Because the Nazis were fascists.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
The Italians under Mussolini were fascists, right?
Yeah, I don't know much about this, so you're gonna win the debate, bro. I don't know
I'm
much.
not trying to win a debate right now. I'm just telling you. If you agree
Nice.
that you should be Antifa in World War II, are you telling me the vets who fought in World War II should be considered domestic terrorists under Trump's administration because he considered Antifa a terrorist organization?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, so the vets that fought in World War II that are Antifa, they should be considered domestic terrorists by the Trump administration, right?
No.
No? Okay, wait, but he just said that he literally classified Antifa as a terrorist organization.
I haven't said anything. You're just asking me questions I don't know much about.
Okay, well, we'll talk to you about things that you do know then. Why do you like Trump, man?
What up? Many different reasons. He supports pretty much everything that's in the Bible, and every time I hear you talk on this live stream, you just say he's misogynist, he hates women, he does all this. Why is he not in jail?
Watch this. I'm gonna play you a video. You said he knows all about the Bible, right?
Okay. You mentioned the Bible. You've been talking about how it's your favorite book.
Hold on, listen.
Okay. You mentioned the Bible. You've been talking about how it's your favorite book. And you said, I think last night in Iowa, some people are surprised that you say that. I'm wondering what one or two of your most favored Bible verses are and why.
I wouldn't want to get into it because to me that's very personal. You know, when I talk about the Bible, it's very personal. So I don't want to get into verses. I don't want to get into.
There's no verse that means a lot to you that you think about or cite.
The Bible means a lot to me, but I don't want to get into specifics.
Even to cite a verse that
no,
you like.
I don't want to do that.
You're an Old Testament guy or a New Testament guy?
Probably equal. I think it's just an incredible. The whole Bible is an incredible. I joke. Very much so. They always hold up the Art of the Deal. I say my second favorite book of all time. But I just think the Bible is just something very special.
So, yeah, he knows all about the Bible, right?
No, it's not even close to what I said. You're twisting my words. I said he supports what the Bible supports.
Really? Is that why he's cheated on every single one of his wives? Is that why he bragged about walking into the changing rooms of naked women while they were changing without their consent? Is that why he cut 420,000 children off of free school lunch and breakfast on average every month through the context of the big beautiful bill, and 2.5 million people off of their food stamps, and over 10 million people off their health insurance, while adding
All right,
$3.4
why isn't
trillion
he in
to
jail?
the debt.
Why isn't he in jail?
Because he was elected president, because you voted for him. He was
Why isn't he
convicted
in
and
jail?
sentenced of 34 felonies, and he probably would be in jail if he wasn't president.
Yeah, you can say probably all you want. It's not true. They were proved. Most of them were proved wrong. If all these were right, and he's
Which
the
one was
president of the
proven
United
wrong?
States. Dude, I don't know about any of those. All I know is he is the president of the United States, and when he wasn't, they didn't convict him of nothing.
He was convicted. He was convicted of 34 felonies.
Like what? What are you, 5? Put the book down, dude.
He was
That
convicted
was
of
good.
34
That was good of you.
felonies.
So wait, what does that mean? So like, why is he not in jail? Like,
And
you
if
gotta
you're
teach me.
you're saying a 5-year-old is beating you in a debate right now, is more intelligent than you? Wow, that's interesting.
No, sure, yeah, you can beat me in a debate. I don't know much about this. I just know what I
Well, you
believe.
said I'm a 5-year-old, so I didn't know you think kindergartners can beat you in a debate.
I didn't say you were 5. I said, what are you, 5? Because you're acting like a 5-year-old. You're
I
not
know,
5.
I'm making a joke, bro. I'm making a joke with you because you said that I am 5 years old, man. Jeez, bro.
I said,
It's
what
a
are you
joke,
being
bro.
5? Because look, see, you twisted on me.
You can't take a joke, bro.
Dude, I see people make jokes to you and you lose your crap. You lose your crap.
Go ahead. I made a funny joke. You won't be able to make a funny joke. You're gonna make some joke that's probably like bigoted, bro.
That was hilarious. You took a book when I started talking. You started blowing
Yeah,
on your face.
it says
whatever.
trust me, bro, because you have no evidence. Yeah, like that's a funny joke. Okay, I'm sorry you don't know what being funny is, dude.
Yeah. Okay. What?
Are you laughing at me because I
Jake's
picked up a
parents
book
are
because you
siblings.
don't want to read ever or engage with facts and reality and information?
He said Jake's parents are siblings. Spit out the gum. Dang, these guys are mean. Jake can't comprehend. Golly. Dang. Why are they so rude, bro? What the heck?
Well, I mean, why do you support a guy
Interesting.
that literally has a nickname and an insult for every single person that he runs up against?
What? He
Yeah.
doesn't. He just is. He's.
He
You have
literally
to admit,
does.
Trump is freaking hilarious. Trump is
Newscomb?
hilarious. And he comes up with some
Newscomb? Do you remember Newscomb?
No, actually.
You don't remember that? Do you remember what he said about literally everyone on the debate stage? Do you remember what he said about Ted Cruz? Run to sanctimonious. What do you
He had a
remember
good
what he said
accent. That
about
was
Marco
actually pretty
Rubio
nice, I'm not gonna lie.
before he put him on his admin? Or what
Dude,
did
all
he
I
say
know
about Jeb Bush?
is-
Before it was Sleepy Joe, it was Sleepy Jeb, I tell you. Sleepy Jeb.
Oh my gosh! Does that make him not worthy to be a president? He's a funny guy. You just
Well,
pulled up
now
a
it's
freaking
funny.
book that said, "Trust me, bro."
Now
I'm gonna
it's
start
funny.
dying.
Now it's funny. And us making fun of you is really funny.
Dude, your guys are just like, this dude's
Push the couch,
retarded. Just saying all
Don't
this
use an R
crazy stuff.
slur. What the fuck, dude? That's fucking crazy. None of us did that. None of us did that. That's fucking crazy. Mary, thank you so much for the $25. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Absolutely, Mary. Thank you. Can we get some W's from Mary in the comment section right now? Bonnie, thank you so much for the $10. Thank you. I'll try to look up and see. They even say that there's no evidence. Wow, that's so funny. I should have brought that up when that guy was debating that ivermectin was effective for fighting COVID. That's crazy. B, thank you for the $10. Moni, thank you for the $5. Thank you. Gabriel, thank you for the $5 as well. Matthew, thank you for the $5. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Based. I actually have been doing social media for 5 years now. That's crazy, chat. Holy fuck. I just realized that. I've been doing social media for 5 years. Holy fuck. I've spent half a decade doing social media. That's nuts, dude. That's so nuts. That's crazy. Yo, what's up? How old are you? CK, thank you so much. You're amazing. Thank you. 5 years is nuts, chat. I just got a second flag for hateful behaviors and hate speech. Should I hit a restart, everyone? I think I should. I think I just got a second flag for hate speech and hateful behavior. So we should probably try to keep the TikTok account safe. I recommend to go over to the YouTube for the last 40 minutes here on the stream, everybody. We're going to hit a quick restart here on this TikTok account. I'll be right back. Give me 1 second, everybody. Give me 1 second. If you're on YouTube, hit that thumbs up, everybody. Let's try to get to 2,000 likes. I would really appreciate it. We have almost 3,000 people here. We should easily be able to get up to 2,000.
If you give me a solid enough reason, I'll pick you.
I'm a white dude. And there's a lot of Democrats in the comment section. And you see how many people think that I'm not a terrible guy? So it's not because you're white, dude. It's probably because you said some fucked up shit. And you continue to do that without taking accountability.
You cut me off and didn't let me finish.
Go ahead, bud.
You with your confirmation bias doesn't do anything for us here. So you have a group of like 1,000 people that just are here to support you. So what does that do for you?
Okay,
anyway,
buddy, my confirmation bias. Okay, bud.
Yeah. All right. So to be clear, I can't vote for a party that believes that by me being a white man, I'm a racist. I can't vote for a party.
People don't just believe because you're white, you're racist.
Yes, they do.
It's not what they believe.
Are you a racist? Yes or no?
No.
Are you a benefactor of racism?
Are you saying that like white people specifically, do they have privilege within our society where they don't experience racism just because of the fact that they're white?
No.
Yes. I believe that people have white privilege because they don't experience racism because they're white.
Okay. Do you believe that you have a shadow self and that shadow self is racist?
What does that mean? I don't know what that means.
Yeah, sure. So the idea is that by being a white man, you have this sort of inherent racism. It's like a shadow self, if you will. You have to like somehow fight it deep down to like win this battle. And after a certain amount of battles with it, you eventually come out victorious, and you are now no longer.
I don't think there's any shadow aspect of me that's racist or anything, but I do believe that there are things taught to generally people in society, specifically, that literally get people to be racist, right? There are things taught to people, and you have to unlearn those things, right? So
Great.
those racist
Am I
preconceptions
born?
you have to unlearn. So I think that exists in society.
Am I born into it?
It's not something you're born to. It's something you're taught.
How do I deconstruct this?
By like acknowledging that it's bad and trying to think otherwise, and not being
So
racist.
how do I acknowledge my shadow self, though?
I never said shadow self or anything. I just said, how do you acknowledge preconceptions that you had by thinking about them, going through conversations about them, and seeing the different determinations based upon, again, how you're viewing it, right? I'm just saying go to therapy,
Okay.
right? Talk about the different types of ways that you view things, right? And work through them.
Gotcha.
So that you don't feel that way in the future.
For clarification, just so because maybe I'll switch to the Democratic Party. For clarification, how long do I battle this really deep, profound battle before I come out victorious and I'm no longer a racist?
Well, I don't know how I don't know how that's gonna be for you. But I mean, do you think you're racist right now?
No.
Okay. So then let's have a conversation.
I think that
let's have a
my very
conversation.
existence.
Why do you support Trump? Because no one's saying your very existence makes you racist. We're saying specifically things you could do, things that you could think, things that specifically you support could do, give you that sort of indication that you're doing something that's racist. Appreciate the galaxy, thank you. So, would you like to specifically like address why you support Donald Trump, and maybe we can go through that, because we're not just saying you're racist just for existing.
Have this equal moral worth. I have to pick one because one weighs heavier in terms of my
they don't have
moral
equal moral worth because it's two zygotes or one Parker get a job.
Wait. How does me choosing you eradicate the equal moral worth of the two zygotes?
No, because the two zygotes, because 1 + 1 is more than just 1, right?
Okay,
right?
Sure.
So
Yeah.
if a zygote has equal moral worth to Parker get a job, then two zygotes has twice the value as Parker get a job. Therefore, you would value said two zygotes more than Parker get a job.
Wait. To be fair, when you're saying a zygote, are you referring to it in its earliest stage, like when the first cell is formed?
Single cell at conception. Yep.
Yeah, sure. No, wait. Listen to me closely. You're not understanding what I'm saying to you. I'm saying me picking you in this scenario does not take away the moral worth of the actual zygotes. I'm just putting a moral dilemma.
Mm-hmm.
So I could ask you the same question. Do you believe that you
But you said that they have equal moral worth. So if one of them has equal moral worth to Parker get a job, then two of them has more moral worth than the one Parker get a job, right?
Wait. Well, you're not taking into consideration the fact that there isn't certain aspects of their existence that put you in this moral dilemma. So they can't feel the pain yet. This doesn't mean that it's okay to do it if you're not put in the life or death situation. They can't feel pain. You can. I have to weigh my options here.
Okay, so then how about you weigh your options in the context of pregnancy? The pregnant individual can feel pain, right? The zygote in the embryo prior to the point of sentience cannot feel pain. Therefore, in that determination, you would look at the violation of the rights on behalf of the pregnant individual rather than the violation of rights on behalf of the zygote in the embryo because it can't feel pain under your view, right?
No, because the bodily autonomy violation doesn't fit here.
What? Well,
the bodily autonomy,
it does. That's pain people have to go through. Given that their bodily autonomy is violated. So if you care about the pain, you don't want people to go through the context of pain, and that's what you consider more valuable in this context. Well, then obviously you'd say the pregnant individual having to go through pain of the context of an unjust and unwanted pregnancy. Well, then it is the case that they specifically would not have to go through that context of that pain if they were allowed to get what they want in abortion, right? Which specifically would be better off for them. So if you want to reduce the pain because the pain is going to be the main criteria for value for you, well then again, zygotes and embryos don't have that.
The pain aspect. Wait, let's be very clear here. I don't think you're tracking, so I just need you to lock in for a second here.
I'm not tracking. Okay, bud.
No, you're not tracking, so just lock in for a minute. I need you to listen closely to me, okay? We were having a conversation. Wait, listen, Parker. We were having a conversation in reference to two zygotes in yourself. And you said, if we have equal moral worth, why wouldn't you pick the two zygotes? Because they have, as you said, double moral worth.
Yeah,
I told
according to your own perspective.
I told you that the moral dilemma I'm put in doesn't take away the actual moral worth of the actual zygotes. But I have to choose one because there's things that are compounding factors in your case that makes me choose you over the zygotes.
Okay, let's do it in a math equation because apparently you can't think about it in this context. Would you rather, if you're picking the larger number, pick 1 + 1 or 1?
Say it again?
Yeah, would you rather pick 1 + 1 or 1?
What are you talking about? 1 + 1 or 1?
How about this? Would you rather get $2 million or $1 million?
$2 million.
You'd rather get 2 million, right? Because 2 is more than 1, right? So if 1 zygote is equivalent to 1 Parker get a job, and 1 zygote plus another zygote means that it's equivalent to 2 Parker get a jobs. Given that there's only 1 Parker get a job present, there's not an equivalence in moral value in the context of the scenario. Therefore, you would pick the 2 over the 1, such as the way you would pick 2 million over 1 million.
Oh my God, I can't believe this. Parker, how do I ask this to you so that you seem to understand? You can try to do elementary math.
You must not be tracking. I'm sorry. I'm going to give you basic math.
I'm tracking.
2 is more than 1.
Wait. You're confused because there's clearly you don't know what a moral dilemma is. Can I ask you a question?
I do know what a moral dilemma is. I gave you the moral dilemma, you fucking idiot. What are you talking about?
Hey, Parker, if you understand moral dilemmas, why in the Titanic when it sank did they choose women and children first over the men?
Because historically speaking, it is the case that men were considered more disposable, right? In the context of those scenarios.
Wait, I want to ask you, do you believe that men and women have equal moral worth?
Wait, hold up. You're not asking me if I believe that to be ethical. You're asking me if it is the case that why did we do this historically?
No.
Nice pivot away from this. This is a complete pivot.
Wait, no, because you're not getting the whole. You're asking.
I literally just told you it was because of tradition.
Because of tradition. So now, what about in today's day and age? Would you be okay with? Would you sacrifice yourself for your mother?
Absolutely.
Okay. If your mother and let's say, your best friend are on a kayak or a canoe, it tips over. You can only save one of them. Which one are you going to save?
Wait, say that again.
If you're in a canoe and it tips over with your mother and your best friend, and you can only save and pull one of them in the boat, who are you going to pick?
That's a really weird question, by the way. This is relating to my own personal life. Wait, by the way,
it necessarily follows. I'm proving to you that when you're put in a moral dilemma, they both have equal moral worth. But sometimes you make decisions.
Let me explain. One, you could say in that context, you could say that you're indifferent. You understand that, right? And that's because there's an equivalent situation there, right? Because my best friend is my girlfriend, right? So like the idea that like again in this situation, right? If we're going to talk about like who I'm going to save in this context, right? I can have an indifferent situation in terms of the situation, right? And that doesn't mean that it is the case that like I shouldn't like that's relevant to the scenario. This is related to my own personal life and how I view my personal relationship.
Tell you what, let me give you.
And the situation I brought up with you, the situation I just brought up with you was like, again, a typical person, right? Which could be replaced. You don't have to pick Parker get a job. I was doing that for the simplicity of the conversation, right? Just a typical person that's an adult, right? Or two zygotes, right? Not people you have relationships with, right?
That's perfect. Then let me ask it to you in a better way, since you're obviously not going to you're not going to answer that out of bad faith. Let's just say it's a burning building then. Same equation. But there is 2 infants in one room and 3 in the other. What'd you choose?
2 or 3 infants? You'd pick the 3 infants.
Okay. Why?
Larger number. You could
do they have equal moral worth? Do they have equal moral worth?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Like each of the individuals. So that's why 3 is more than 2.
So listen to me. When you're telling me the actual scenario with the 2 zygotes and you, I'm saying that I pick you because of the factor here. You both are equal. You are all equal, but the compounding factor is you feel pain. They don't yet.
Okay, so then again, in the scenario where you're looking at again a pregnancy, right? The pregnant individual does feel pain. The zygote and the embryo does not feel pain.
Okay, so now let me get this straight. I want to make sure I understand your argument. You're now saying in the woman that is pregnant, it should be the case that because they feel pain,
this is your view, not my view.
Right, but the pain they're feeling you're saying under my logic, they should be able to kill their child, unalive their child because they're feeling pain, correct?
So essentially the perspective is that, again, you value the sentient individual, right, with the pain, right, more than you value the non-sentient individual without the pain. So if that is the criteria that you're establishing there, and you say that they're so much more valuable, because we could give this, would you rather save Parker get a job or 1 million zygotes?
Again, you.
Okay, so at least Parker get a job's at least 1 million times more valuable than the zygotes. Therefore, if you're talking about a pregnant individual being at least 1 million times more valuable than the zygote or the embryo, then it clearly is the case that they should be allowed to get an abortion. Over 1 million times more valuable? I could keep going. How about this? 1 trillion zygotes or Parker get a job? Which would you rather save? A trillion zygotes or Parker get a job?
Got a phone call. What was that?
Who would you rather save? 1 trillion zygotes or Parker get a job?
It would always be you for the reason.
Exactly.
Wait, a unicellular zygote, okay, isn't going to take precedence over you only because you feel pain. This doesn't take away from.
Okay, so then why would you value? Okay, so then you're going to value the pregnant individual so much more than you're going to value the zygote or the embryo without sentience.
Listen, Parker, all you're proving in this hypothetical, which I think you're doing something, all you're proving is that I will choose you over the fetuses that don't feel pain 99% of the time because I'm put into a situation where I have to choose. Now you have to draw a comparison to elective abortion. This is elective. You're giving me a life or death situation. I'm talking about elective abortions. Draw the comparison here, please.
Well, you're making the choice based upon your own set of conditions, and I'm saying that that's true. Think about it this way. This life or death situation just proves, all it does is prove the value difference, the value distinction. You value people that are adults at least 1 trillion times more than you value zygotes and embryos, okay? At least 1 trillion times more, okay? So if you value a pregnant individual at least 1 trillion times more than the fucking zygote or the embryo that's inside of them, well, then it is very, very clear they should be able to get that abortion. They're valued 1 trillion times more. The experience that they have in not being able to follow through with their own bodily autonomy, their own specific determinations, right, is going to be significantly worse, morally speaking, than anything you see in terms of a zygote and embryo that will never have a subjective experience ever if there's an abortion.
Okay. You are not being able. The problem here is that I understand you're trying to draw the actual sentience relevance into this, but I mean, you're using like a moral intuition versus moral principle distinction. I'm just saying this scenario plays on emotional intuition, okay? It's not consistent moral principle. even if I save you, okay, which I would, it doesn't. Again, I'm just gonna say this one more time. That I'm done. Even if I save you, it doesn't mean the embryos have no moral worth. It just means the context matters. Like emotionally prefer.
I'm not saying that they have no moral worth under this notion. I'm just saying that they have at least 1 trillion times less value than specifically an adult.
Can we be very clear? I want to just make it does, but I want to make one adaptation to this. I just want to be very clear. If it was 2 6-week-old fetuses or you, and I knew those 6 week of fetuses would come to actually, to like be infants, and they would be born, they would be healthy, I'd choose the infant. I'll choose the 6 week fetuses. Wait, did you hear the hypothetical?
They're embryos at that point, by the way. They're embryos at that point, not even a fetus.
Yeah, so I would choose them over you. Yes,
I would. Now 6 weeks over me.
It has a heartbeat,
bro.
Heartbeat, brain activity, man.
Heartbeat doesn't even begin at 6 weeks, dude. That's not even an actual heartbeat. That's an electrical impulse, bro.
It medically and scientifically speaking, it's a heartbeat.
It's literally an electrical impulse. It's not even like what we designate as like a heartbeat in typical, right? Now, again, that's also like it's not sentient. It doesn't feel pain, right? So the same notion that you brought up originally, I don't know what your point is.
Okay, I guess just to make this kind of come to an end, because obviously you're just arguing kind of in bad faith because we're stuck in this hypothetical you gave. Let me just give you a hypothetical to see what your actual positioning is here. Let's say that you are a woman. Your child is born into a coma on a ventilator in a feeding tube. It hasn't experienced any subjective first-person experiences, okay? It doesn't feel pain because it's in a coma. It can react to external stimuli, but it doesn't really feel things to the way you traditionally would associate feeling things like. The doctor tells you in 9 months the baby's going to wake up out of the coma, but you have to feed the baby for 9 months through the feeding tube. You have to breastfeed to feed the baby. But he gives you an option to pull the plug on the baby, or wait 9 months and you have to breastfeed it every single day and through the feeding tube. What would you do?
Well, someone could choose to specifically like feed them, right? Like if I could feed them myself, I would choose to feed them.
The doctor tells you that you as the woman, the baby's going to wake up out of this coma in 9 months. You have to either feed the baby.
When it's outside of the womb. So when people have to get an abortion, think about it this way. In order for them to get the abortion, in order for them to terminate the pregnancy and to uphold their bodily autonomy, they have to engage in an abortion that would lead to the death of it, okay? Until the point of viability, and then after that point, there can be induction of labor without the context of the death. In this context, right, one, you're saying that it's necessary that they specifically get food from, right, the person who was pregnant, which isn't necessary because they can get food from other sorts of scenarios. But if we were to assume that that's true, right, in that context, there would not be an obligation given that it was never sentient, it wouldn't be sentient, they do not have to feed. Right, because it's never been sentient and never would be sentient.
I'm just trying to derive a moral principle from you, and I'm just trying to see where you stand. I'm asking you one more time.
Well, I mean, I don't believe in moral principles. I'm a particular.
Fine. I'm trying to derive some idea of where you stand in terms of your morality. But one more time, in the hypothetical I gave you, the doctor tells you that the child was born into a coma. It fits all the criteria of what you say a fetus is. Okay, it isn't sentient, doesn't feel pain. But in 9 months, it's going to wake up, but you have to breastfeed the child. Your bodily autonomy will be violated if you have to take care of it and breastfeed it through the feeding tube. Which one do you pick? Do you pull the plug, or do you continue to breastfeed the child, violating your bodily autonomy? Stop reading from your Discord from Dean.
I'm not.
Okay.
I don't have Discord open.
Yes, you are.
Wait, by the way, I don't even have Discord anymore. My Discord's closed.
You've been doing this the whole entire life.
I promise. Wait, I haven't even been on Discord in months, bro.
It's okay to get
in like a long time. I'm serious. I don't even have Discord open.
I can't even have
I'm literally just looking at my screen. This is me on YouTube, dude.
You're a puppet, dude. Oh my goodness. You're not even talking to me like a real person. You're speaking through Discord from Dean.
I don't even have Discord open. I don't even have Discord open. I don't even go on Discord.
Fine, one more time. Do you hear my hypothetical? Your bodily autonomy is being violated because you have to breastfeed the child in a coma for 9 months. It's going to wake up in 9 months. It's a guaranteed thing. Do you breastfeed it and violate your bodily autonomy, or should you have the option to pull the plug and unalive the child?
I told you, if it's not sentient, it's never been sentient, you have the option to specifically not take care of it.
You're serious? The doctor tells you it's going to wake up in 9 months. It's outside of the womb now.
Well, yeah, but you don't have to. You don't have an obligation to take care of it. If it's never been sentient.
Get cooked, bro. I just clipped that shit. That's the best. I got you, bro. I got you. That's fucking cooked, dude. You would pull a on a 9.
I have a question.
Newborn baby that is gonna wake up in 9
Wait, what
months.
do you mean? So again, never been sentient, never been sentient, never existed. I said it should be legal.
No, never existed. I'm saying it was born to a coma, but it's going to wake up in 9 months.
And by the way, in the hypothetical that he's providing, the only food that they can get is not from any other scenario. It's only from the pregnant individual, which is not something that can happen within the context of the reality that we live in. So in the context of this hypothetical scenario, yes, I think someone should legally be able to do that. Given that it is the case that they could have gotten food, given it is the case that they, in reality, they could have gotten food, right, in other connotations outside of the context of the individual that was prior pregnant, it would be the case that there would be no obligation from one specific individual.
Wait, I heard what you said, but just to be clear, you made a very like blanket statement that is a false statement. I want to correct you right now.
What's the false statement?
You said that the woman providing breast milk is not a real world scenario where she has to, but there are many infants that are born that reject and are allergic to formula.
No, like I'm saying, I'm giving you, for example, like if in the context of the scenario that we're in, it doesn't have to be the specific person that was pregnant, right? You could have specifically, if you're talking about breast milk from other individuals, you can have specifically the formula. You can give other types of situations. In the context of the emergency room, right? We have plenty of different options.
Well, I just love it because if we lived in like 1800 America, you'd be okay with women just fucking killing their kids, dude.
What do you mean? They're sentient.
Wait, no. Listen. If a kid was born like in like some sort of ideal or unideal situation where they're in a coma, you'd be okay with them just like killing their kids, bro. I
never said anything about killing. I just said that they specifically wouldn't have. If they've never been sentient ever, there's no obligation to feed in that context. If you're the only person that can. They've never been sentient. They never would be sentient. What's your point?
Your bodily autonomy violation follows the infant outside of the womb, and you can't even fucking admit that. You can't even fucking admit it.
I did just acknowledge everything. I'm confused what you. I know you're crashing out and you're getting so mad.
Hey, no, I'm
that
not.
I've disproven you. You're so angry.
Can a bodily autonomy violation occur outside of the womb?
Sure. I guess. Yeah.
Would you be okay with a mother that?
But this isn't. It's not in a real. It can in a like logical hypothetical, but not in a realistic scenario, if that makes sense.
Okay, cool. So like a woman that's just, let's say the hypothetical, she's being forced to breastfeed the child. Bodily autonomy violation.
I don't think that they specifically should be forced to breastfeed. I think that society as a whole. I think society as a whole in that context would help provide.
Yeah. What if in the hypothetical the child is they have to receive the breast milk from that mother? And it has
again not a realistic scenario. Again, no, if they were never sentient, there's no obligation. Like I'll keep answering the same question. I already told you.
It doesn't matter.
They've never been sentient. They have no obligation.
It doesn't matter. I already cooked you. Is there anything else you want to say? Or?
You
got violated, bro.
No, you didn't even beat me on anything. You're claiming victory without anything.
I eviscerated you, dude.
On what? You didn't eviscerate me on anything.
You just said to everyone here that in the hypothetical, all I gave you was two things you say are completely strange. The baby's born in a coma, which happens all the time on a ventilator. That's a realistic situation. The only crazy part in the hypothetical is the doctor saying that the baby's going to wake up in 9 months.
Think about it this way. If it's a coma means they've already had sentience in the past, and then their sentience has gone away, meaning they meet my set of criteria: past or present and future subjective experience. If it is the case that they've never had a sentient experience yet, they can't be in a coma. Does that make sense?
Well, I understand what
you're. I know you're trying to like intuition pump here as hard as you possibly can, but it's not even the case that you can even do that. And I can give you so many worse reductives. Would you like me to actually like give you a hard reductive to deal with? I haven't given you any hard reductives to deal with. Watch you run away right now. Watch this.
I already did my job. I already cooked you, bro. I cooked you already. It's done.
You didn't cook me at all.
Let's go to the next topic because I already cooked you on that.
No, can I give you a hypothetical real quick?
Dude, listen. Just admit you got cooked, and we can go to the next topic.
I didn't get cooked.
And you were using Discord Dean, dude. Discord Dean is crazy.
I don't have Discord open. I don't have
Discord. Let's get some Discord Deans in the chat.
Okay. Well, I just want to let you know, Discord isn't even logged in on my computer. I haven't used Discord in a while. My Discord's been shut down for a while. I don't even use Discord. The only things I have open are YouTube chat, TikTok chat, And then
Wait.
literally in my notepad where I wrote in lock in, not tracking, 1 + 1 or 1. That's it. That's all I
Hey,
wrote.
can I just be? Well, the only reason I'm saying this is because I've been watching your eyes, like track. Your eyes are tracking to the left, then coming back to me with a very quick rebuttal.
No,
Very quick.
I'm waiting for you to speak, and then I just literally respond. This
Well,
is
I
also
kinda
where my
do.
notepad is, and I also wasn't even writing anything down on my notepad.
Also, I do kind of like understand.
Wait,
Dean
dude,
is obviously.
genuinely, hold up. Like, I get you thinking this or whatever, but I genuinely didn't do that. And the fact that you think that I had to like do that, and I came back with such a quick
No.
rebuttal, and you can't fathom that I did that. Is,
Wait, can I just tell you also why?
I'm going to take that as a
Can I tell you
compliment,
one
I
more time?
guess.
Can I tell you one more time why? I talked to you one time in the past, and after I talked to you,
All right,
I-
bye-bye.
when I cooked you
You've
last
already been
time-
on my... Wait, hold up. I'm sorry, wait. Can you read?
7 months ago.
Can you read?
And when I just so you know,
Wait,
when I
wait,
cooked
can you read? Can you read?
Yeah, one time only. This is a new account.
It says so it says only request if 18 plus, American, currently MAGA, one time only and ready to debate. You said that you've already debated me before in the past. Why'd you do
I'm now
come
in
up
a-
on the stream?
Because I wanted to say to you also that last time I cooked you, Dean came up right after I left and said, "Damn." He said that was actually a pretty good debate. I wish he would have stayed. He was there talking to you the whole time on Discord. The last time we talked, Dean came right up after because I gave you a syllogism and you couldn't answer it.
What was the syllogism I couldn't answer?
It was about God and you couldn't answer it. So he came up right after. and was
What
like,
about
"Damn."
God? Let's go through it.
I already cooked you last time on this.
Okay, dude, if you just think that you cook me on everything, but you don't actually have like an actual argument, it's kind of embarrassing. Like you just
Yes,
sound like
let's talk about
childish.
this.
You sound
Like
incredibly
God, right?
childish.
You think that the problem of evil basically disqualifies God from his existence, correct?
I think, I can give you an argument based upon that, based upon the idea of perfection and plenty of different things that specifically show you that it's not possible for the Christian God to exist.
Okay, so then the problem is that are you an atheist or an agnostic?
By the way, I have 10 minutes. I have therapy in 10 minutes. But you said what?
W therapy. The problem is you're an atheist or an agnostic.
I'm an agnostic atheist.
Do you suspend judgment on God?
On the Christian God? I think the Christian God's not true.
Do you suspend judgment on all gods?
Yeah, on other versions of God, yeah.
Okay, so a couple problems
like
here.
Abrahamic and like the perfect, all-knowing, all-powerful,
Yeah.
all-good notions of God.
Yeah, sure. So I mean, the problem is like you're pretty much put into a dichotomous situation as an atheist, where you only have very few, like two options to really run to, and you can't answer either of them. And that's the problem. Is that? Yeah, sure. So space time is eternal, correct? Oh, he's doing it. Discord Dean's coming in.
No, I'm writing down. Do you want me to type? Do you want me to literally put it on the screen? That I wrote down space time eternal. I'm just writing down.
Sorry. Okay, go ahead. So yeah, so space time. I'll stop trolling. Okay. So the problem is that you have two dichotomous into this dichotomy. Space time can either be eternal or matter can create itself. So which one do you posit?
So you're saying matter is eternal, or it's not either matter is eternal or it's created by itself. That's not an argument.
I'm saying you're in a
by the way,
dichotomous situation. Give me the third option. What would be the third option? So either matter can create itself or space time is eternal.
So no, there could be some process of there's certain types of natural phenomena that led to the existence that we have right now. It doesn't necessarily have to be in the context of matter, but yes, some connotations of matter could lead to the creation of other forms of matter that's completely coherent. There's no issue with that.
Okay.
Also,
Gotcha. So
there could be a deist notion of God. Say you think that there's like a causal pattern that requires some sort of personal being to create it into an existence, right? That could still be a deist notion of God that has nothing to do with the Christian notion of God. And also saying that we don't have an explanation, right, is totally consistent with me being agnostic and me saying I don't know. You know, right?
Sure.
Like,
yeah, you know. We'll see the
so
problem
there's nothing
here is
contradictory with my position, given that I don't hold one.
Wait. So do you believe that my position is irrational?
Yes.
Okay, great. Because I'm just saying in the beginning, God. You're saying in the beginning, dirt.
No, I'm not. I'm saying in the beginning, I don't
Great,
fucking
so
know. I'm saying I don't know what the explanation is.
I don't know. I don't know. It's a cop out, dude. So here's a syllogism.
I
for
don't
you.
know
If
is
you
the
think-
reality.
Wait. So let me ask you this question again, because I'll lay it out really simply. You just answer. If this moment, point B, is our conversation, and point A is an infinite series of dominoes being knocked over. Okay, let's say that the dominoes are always knocking over internally. How long does it take for the last domino to reach this very moment in our conversation we're having?
You'd say an infinite amount of time.
Okay, does that logically follow?
Well, under the same notion, God, because he's eternal, there would be an infinite amount of time periods existing prior to the point of creation. So then creation would never happen, right?
Oh yeah, right. No, the problem with that is that God has to exist outside of these parameters. Otherwise, I can't grant him God as God.
Well, then you can't cause things in the context of a situation without time, because causation is a temporal concept. There's a prior concept to it, like before it was created, and there's an after concept of after it was created. And if you don't have that prior and after concept in the context of causation, then you cannot explain causation. Atemporal causation is incoherent gibberish.
Sure. So if I grant you the causation aspect of it, just tell me then, can you demonstrate for all the 5,000 people here, please, if you believe in this, can you demonstrate for us and give me one example of not a possible infinite, but an actual infinite?
What do you mean by like an actual? By the way, I'm not even. I don't think that there's an issue with something being eternal, and I don't think you think that as well, because you believe in God. Like God would be the example for you.
I can answer that because I was. That's a whole different conversation to get to. But I'm just saying, can you demonstrate for the people here an actual infinite, please?
I don't know what you mean by like demonstrating actual. I don't have to demonstrate an actual infinite.
Do me a favor. Count number 1 and go 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Now keep going.
No.
Okay, great. How far can you go? You can count an infinite amount of times, right?
No, I can't.
Oh wait, so in mathematics, you can't count an infinite number of things?
No, because I would fucking die, you dumbass.
Okay, great. So let me ask you a question. The difference here is that starting with 1, that is a starting point. That's called a possible infinite. It starts somewhere and it keeps going forward. Demonstrate an actual infinite with no beginning and no end. It just always is existing.
Okay, then you're essentially saying God can't be eternal because you can't demonstrate an actual infinity of a being or something existing eternally. So again, you're just contradicting your own worldview.
No, I'm not, because the same way that you exist. Okay, picture a computer, okay? There is a computer. It understands binary code. You understand that? 1s and 0s, right?
Okay.
Does the operator operate inside the computer or outside the computer?
The person who's operating the computer, or are you talking about something within the computer? It would be outside of the
computer. No. Okay, great. So the same way the operator operates outside the computer, binary code only understands 1s and 0s, okay? It's temporal, okay? The operator sits outside of the computer. He punches the inputs in. In the same way, God operates outside of our parameters. We are inside of his parameters he created.
Are you saying he's outside of logic or something?
No, he is logic. Okay, he stands outside of it.
Coherent. Could God cause? God's all powerful, right? Could God create a rock that's so heavy he could not pick it up prior to creation?
The paradox won't work. Okay, man.
Exactly. So God, see what I mean? So God is not. God is bound by logic. There are certain facts of reality that God is bound by. Okay.
Okay, wait. So anyway, so yeah, the paradox.
Can you respond to that? Can you respond to that? There are certain things like logic that God is bound by, correct?
No, because that is the that's an omnipotence paradox.
Okay. So then tell me. So God can create a rock that's so heavy he could not pick it up because he's not bound by logic.
No, because the paradox is meaningless because it describes a logic.
He can't do it because he's bound by logic.
No, I'm responding. Okay, listen to me. Listen, okay. The paradox is meaningless because it describes like a logically incoherent situation, not a real possibility.
Exactly. So because God is bound by logic, he can't do this.
No, because creating a rock that an all-powerful being cannot lift is like creating a four-sided triangle. It's a contradiction in terms.
Exactly. God's bound by logic, therefore he can't do things that are illogical.
No, because God's omnipotence means he can do all possible things, not nonsensical contradictions.
That's exactly what I'm saying. He's bound by logic.
Great. So what is the argument?
If he can do all possible things, that means he's still bound by logic. I'm saying there's some facts of reality that God is bound by. And this is a fact of logic specifically that would be bound to him. If you're saying it's impossible to have eternal things, well, then it's impossible for God to be eternal. Okay? Now, let me give you an argument because I have 2.5 minutes before I have to get going here. Literally, let me give you the argument. Okay, God is all-knowing, all-powerful, and all-good and perfect, okay? God, prior to the point of creation, was perfect and was in existence that was perfect. If something is perfect, it's flawless. There's no traits that lack desirability, right? There's no undesirable traits. It's flawless, okay? If God existed in a flawless state, and right now we exist in a world where there is sin, that indicates there is flaws within the world that we're existing in, then you're telling us that God chose to go from a state that is perfect to a state that is imperfect, which is contradictory. because you're saying that God desires imperfection as a perfect being. And also you're arguing that it was more desirable for God to go from a state that is perfect to a state in which is less desirable that has flaws. Okay? It can't be more desirable to do something that is less desirable. That is contradictory by a very notion of the usage of logic. If you indicate that logic is something that you can utilize, well, then it shows you a perfect God creating the world is impossible given that we exist in an imperfect world with sin.
Can I give a quick response and then we can maybe finish this another time? Okay, so perfection doesn't mean lack of action. It just means a lack of deficiency. So like a perfect being doesn't need to create, but it could like choose to create out of abundance. So the reason I'm saying this is like a perfect God wouldn't create like because he's missing something. He would just create because goodness tends to express itself. I mean, like, think of it this way, okay? Think of it this way.
That doesn't
like,
make
light
it so he
doesn't-
didn't intentfully do it then. You just said it happened to occur. He didn't intentfully do it then.
Well, think of it this way. Like, let me ask you this. Like, light doesn't shine because it needs to. It shines. It shines because that's what light does.
It's a natural
Correct?
process,
Yes or no?
not by an intent.
Right. No. But similarly, like a perfectly good being might create a shared existence in consciousness with others.
But we're not in a perfect. So again, you're still saying that a perfect being desired, because he intentfully did this action, desired to go from a state that was imperfect to a state that was perfect.
Well, no, because God's intention. Wait, let me just respond, and then we'll just end it here. He would necessarily like create creation. If he is all good, he would want to share what is all good with us. Now, however, a perfect creation might include like free beings and free will, like necessarily, you know, he would allow the possibility.
So let me just clarify. Let me clarify, because apparently you're not tracking. So again, we exist in a world that's imperfect because there's sin within it. There are people that commit sin. The existence that existed prior, where God existed alone, there was no sin. There was no lack of anything, right? Everything was perfect and flawless. If that was the case, that means there would be no intentional state where God would want to change from that position because it's already perfect. It would have to be random. Right?
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Yes, but
okay. The story of creation that he intentfully chose to create is a fake story.
Sure. So listen, they're all saying therapy session, but
yeah, I got to get going.
Last question before you leave. Do you believe that good can exist? Can you experience good without experiencing bad?
Yes, God existed good. God existed in a good sense prior to the point of creation where there was no bad.
Wait, no, but good is only magnified and made to be good by the existence.
Do you think there's bad in heaven?
In heaven, no.
Oh, this guy's such an idiot. There's all good in heaven, no bad. Get off my stream. You're a waste of my time.
Yeah, that.
You think he thinks he's smart? He thinks he beat me and he was dunking on me. What an idiot! I'm sorry. Let's get off for tonight, everyone. I'll see everyone later. I love everyone so much. Marin, thank you for the $20. Thank you so much. Zach, thank you for the $20. Matt with the $2. Cowpoke, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $5. Toads with the $2. Theta, thank you so much for the $5. Thank you, everyone. You know what? I don't think I can catch up with everyone. I'm so sorry, everyone that I didn't get to thanking. I really apologize. I will be on later, everybody. I love everyone so much. Go check out my YouTube videos I'm about to post while I'm on therapy. I love everyone so much. As soon as Dean's off live, I'll probably hop on around 3:30 Pacific time to 4 p.m. I'll see everyone then. I love y'all so much. Have a good night, everyone, or good day, everyone. I'll see y'all. I wish I could stay live. Quickly start adding people up, which is about to hit right now. What's good, everyone joining in from Dean's stream? How's everybody doing? What's up? If you're on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. If you're on TikTok, tap that screen and help get out to more people. We're going to get the debates going right now. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates. Sounds like they were driving. Let's go on the next person. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates, everybody. What's good, everyone joining in from Dean's stream? Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Parker, get a job! Parker, get a job!
Okay. Osiris, thank you for the membership subscription. Thank you. And Angel, thank you so much. Really appreciate the $30 on PayPal. Thank you so much, Angel. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Yo, what's up? How old are you? Alrighty, let's go to the next person. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates, everybody. If you're on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. If you're on TikTok, tap that screen. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
26.
Do you support Donald Trump?
I do.
Okay, if you could go back in time and you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris, who would you rather vote for?
Donald Trump.
Okay, why would you rather vote for Donald Trump?
Because Donald Trump is the best president ever.
Okay, what makes you think that?
He's hilarious. He fixes the economy, and I think he's the only person who can make other leaders fear America.
Okay, can you name one good economic policy of Donald Trump's that he influenced to get passed?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't hear you when you swipe out of the app. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. All right, maybe he's trying to find his source. We'll give him a second to find that source. In the meantime, let's add someone else up. He left, by the way. Yo, it's a Paladin. Okay, let's go to the next person. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates, everybody. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. Again, everyone, we are just looking for some debates. Yo, it's a Paladin. How old are you? Okay, let's go to the next person. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates, everybody. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. Thank you for the super live star. Thank you. Yo, it's a Paul to you.
Yo, you better agree with this, but Trump sucks.
All right, based. Can we get some FDTs in the comment section? Let's go on to the next individual. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen.
Hello?
What's up, how old are you?
20.
Do you support Donald Trump?
Of course I do.
What's your birth year?
2005.
What state do you live in?
I live in California, but I'm from
time is
Australia, but I live in Canada. It's 4:08.
Okay, what time? Can you name 3 cities in California?
Beverly Hills, Santa Monica, and Sacramento.
Okay, all right. And you're saying that you have dual citizenship and you can vote here?
Correct. I'm on a tennis scholarship.
Okay. Why do you support Trump then?
Let's talk about abortion. So, if an offender commits manslaughter to a pregnant female, the offender is up for double homicide. The offender has unintentionally killed the 2 human beings, yet he's still forced to have a criminal conviction and a sentence. However, a mother who intentionally kills her unborn baby can walk free. How does that make sense, Dean? Parker, sorry.
Ms. Parker, well, I don't think it would be a double homicide prior to the point of sentience, but it would be an unjustified termination of pregnancy and murder.
No, I'm not trolling. Okay, can I hear your viewpoints on vaccination?
No, I had someone in the comment section I trust say that you've been on the live before, and I feel like you're trolling anyway. So I am going to go on to the next person. Maybe I'm wrong. I do apologize if I am. Yo, what's up, how old are you?
21.
Do you support Donald Trump?
I do.
If you could go back in time and you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris, who would you rather vote for?
Donald Trump.
Okay, what's your birth year?
January 26, 2004.
And you said you're how old again?
I'm 21.
Okay. Did you just debate Dean?
I did, yeah.
Okay. Did I just talk to you?
We didn't debate. I was on his live. I didn't know if that counted.
Is this JJ?
I didn't know if that counted.
Well, why haven't you changed your mind yet?
I mean, I'm strong on the border, really. That's my main thing that's keeping me from swaying.
Didn't you say like I was like factual when it comes to economics and you took whatever I said? So do you agree with
I
me?
didn't really. It sounded like you said what I said in a sarcastic voice. I really didn't hear you clearly.
I've debated you outside of the context of Dean's Live before. I'm pretty sure that I have.
When?
Is your name, do you go on other accounts and use different names? Yeah, that's definitely true because you just did that. This is a
For
different account
Dean.
name. So, okay, can you admit it? Why do you keep coming back? What's up? What's the reason of wanting to
All
keep
these
coming back?
people are just giving you feeling arguments. I'm the only person that people actually agree with is giving a good argument, and it's because I am smart and I know.
It doesn't look like people in the comment section like that.
Man, if they really want me to go, it's all right. But I'm just giving good arguments, man. Like with actual sources and actual stuff you can debate me
Don't
on.
do that though. I just talked to you earlier about how you literally didn't understand tariffs. Come on, what do you mean fact?
I did understand tariffs.
And weren't you reading it off of ChatGPT? Because you clearly didn't.
No, I wasn't.
The usage of retaliatory tariffs, that's what would cause the increase in prices in other countries? Not the imposition of our policy?
It's still increasing prices for other countries, though.
Okay.
You're telling me our tariffs don't increase
Our tariffs
for other countries?
Our tariffs don't increase prices in their countries. Their tariffs that they place
It's because they're doing
to our
retaliatory,
tariffs cause an increase in the prices there.
which cause an increase in prices everywhere.
No, not necessarily. Not if we don't impose tariffs. So what you're acknowledging is that the tariffs cause prices to go up. So is that at least what you're acknowledging?
Yes, marginally here, but higher other places.
No, it wouldn't necessarily be higher here comparative to, or less high here comparative to other places, because it is the case that, again, the tariffs are both implemented in the same connotation, likely reciprocal.
Exactly, they're reciprocal. They're retaliatory, which means the price of their good is going to start at a higher price than it was originally.
People want me to move on because you just talked to Dean, and a lot of people watched that conversation.
I mean, I wanted to talk about immigration, but
I'm sorry. I am going to go on to the next person. There's a lot of people in live right now that don't want to watch that right now. And I think that I'm going to respect that. I have a few people to thank real quick. Judy, thank you so much for the $10. Thank you. Lola, thank you so much for the $20. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Absolutely, I will again. I already did as well. The little dog shop, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. The $36. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Absolutely. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Travis, thank you for the $1. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. I don't really have much of thoughts on it. Rain, thank you so much. I really appreciate Renee, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $5. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. I'm glad that I can. Thank you so much. Valkyrie, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $10. Thank you so much. Let me get you up on YouTube, and then we're going to go on to the next person real quick. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates. By the way, everyone, we're going to be doing like 2-3 hours right now because we did like 2 hours earlier. Just letting everyone know. Coral, thank you so much for the 5 membership subscriptions. Thank you. Let me try to get someone up, and then we're going to thank everyone. Thank you for the butterfly. Thank you. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Watch every shadow that gonna man.
Okay. Oh, okay. They said hello as soon as I kicked them. I'm sorry. Let's go on the next person. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Hold up. My Wi-Fi's bad.
Okay. And how old are you? Oh, okay. All right. They must have left. Let's go to the next person here real quick. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. If you're on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. If you're on TikTok, tap that screen, everybody. Yo, what's up? How old are you? Okay. Let's go to the next person. Only send a guest request again if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates. Alrighty, let's go on to the next person. Only send a guest request again if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Hello. I'm 19.
Do you support Donald Trump?
I do.
What's your birth year?
2005, October 14th.
Okay. 2005, October 14th, and you said you're how old again?
My mom called me.
You said you're how old again?
19. I'm turning 20 on the 14th.
Okay, for sure. For sure. Let me say
My mom called me.
That's for sure. Let me say thank you to a few people, and then we can make sure to go on to our conversation. You have a little bit of feedback. Is there a way you could fix that while I say thank you to a few people? Love you. Thank you so much. Really appreciate the $20. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Oh, that's great. 11 hours. That's honestly so fucking long. That's so long. I really appreciate it. That's amazing. Thank you so much. That's great. That's great. I love that. We love to see that. We love to see that, Lovey. Thank you so much. Jeffrey, thank you so much.
My phone's at 4%. Stop ducking.
Privacy with the $5. Amanda, thank you for the $5. Thank you. Jay, thank you for the $5. And Turtle, thank you for the $5. Thank you. I'm not ducking. I didn't know that you had low. I didn't know you had low. What's it called? Battery. I have a few more people to thank though. Can I do that real quick?
You did 40 seconds ago.
Okay, well, Clifford, thank you for the $15. Thank you so much, Clifford. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much on PayPal. Thank you. Judy, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $10. Thank you so much, Judy. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Teresa, thank you for the $50. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Teresa, can we get some W's for Teresa in the comment section right now? Thank you so much, Teresa. I really appreciate it.
Let me
Thank
see
you so
proof that
much.
someone really sent
I
you
absolutely will.
$50
Thank you
now.
so much. I really appreciate it, Teresa. Thank you. We actually will start with the first person. Cora, thank you for the $1. Thank you. Teresa asks specifically, explain why taking away free school lunch and breakfast from children is okay.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, under the big beautiful bill, it cuts 420,000
I want to ask
children
you a question
off of free
first.
school.
You know how you tell me if I go back in time to vote for Kamala?
Yeah.
If you could travel into the future and see a kid that you want to get aborted and see him or them older with like kids and happy, would you still tell them to get aborted?
What? That's like
Let's say you could travel to the
that's like
future.
arguing if you could travel forward and see a person, right? Would you say it would be wrong
Well,
for
I mean,
the
you don't really
parents
have
to have
to
not
actually
had
travel
sex
to
on
the
the
future.
night
I mean,
to
we could
create them or something?
We could do a pretty good guess on where that kid's gonna end up, right? Or not?
Well, think about it this
You
way.
don't actually have to travel to the
Think
future.
about it this way. If your parents didn't have sex on the very night that they did to be able to create you, then you wouldn't exist, right? So specifically,
Watch what you talk about my mother and father having sex, sir.
what, dude? I'm just giving you like a clear point. Do you understand? You understand that you could see a person in the future who specifically would have been created, but due to like another action, which we don't consider them immoral to take, they wouldn't exist in that alternative timeline. That doesn't mean that specifically it would be wrong for them to engage in the action that doesn't lead to that person's existence
We
in the
can't talk
alternative
about
timeline.
teleporting to the future, but we could talk about alternative timelines. Really?
We just talked about it.
So what I'm trying to say is, if you could teleport to the future and tell that kid, hey, I'm arguing for you to die when you was born, are you still gonna do it?
Say that again?
Let's say you teleport to the future and you tell a kid that that's gonna get aborted right now, but he doesn't get aborted. And let's say you go to the future and you say, hey, I'm gonna go back in time and I'm gonna argue for a guy like you to be dead.
That's not me arguing for them specifically to be dead. That's me arguing for policies that specifically would have changed the course of history insofar as that they wouldn't have existed. For example, the same thing would be true in plenty of other connotations, right? Again, under the context of our worldviews, right, it is the case that there are plenty of different choices that our parents could have made that would have not led to our existence, right? We think it's totally legal for people specifically to revoke consent to sex, right, to stop engaging, right? But that's specifically in the context of a scenario in which it's your parents obviously creating you. If they would have stopped in that scenario, you wouldn't exist in that alternative timeline. So you saying that people should have the right to revoke consent to sex, are you saying that you think that they should be dead or something?
So you're telling me if my mother and father didn't have sex at the exact moment that the sperm of me coming into my mom?
Yeah, you said that really weird way.
Is that what you're telling me right now? So you're telling me if my dad didn't fuck my mom at the perfect amount of time, I wouldn't be born, and that makes it right for me not being here?
Why are you saying it this way now, man? Why are you taking it that way, man?
Doesn't matter. Do you really care?
So again, your parents, if they didn't have intercourse at the particular time they did, specifically to create your existence, then you wouldn't exist. It would be someone else, yes.
So you're saying that, okay, so since if my mom and dad didn't have sex, that makes it good for people to abort babies?
What? I'm just saying because specifically someone engages in an action that would not lead to the existence of a particular person in the future doesn't mean that they're arguing.
Oh, so you're saying if my mom and dad didn't have sex, that means that they didn't want somebody to be born, is what you're trying to tell me? Or
they didn't want to have a kid at that particular time period, yeah.
So that's not the same thing though. That's like a total different thing that literally makes no sense.
But it's relative to at least the way that I view abortion.
That's like me saying, oh, why
it's a person prior to the point of sentience. You cut out, man. I can't hear you. Loritz, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $5. Thank you so much. Haley, thank you so much for the $32. Haley, thank you so much. Can we get some W's for Haley in the comment section right now? Thank you so much. Nova, thank you for the $5. Thank you so much. 12% is very, very high, I would say. Unless, yeah, like if you're taking out that loan. Natalie, thank you so much for the $10. Thank you so much. Based means like I agree with you. That's good. And get pushed, I'm pretty sure that means like I beat you in a debate, essentially. Or like get cooked in the debate, you know? Like I'm pretty sure that's what the context. I think that Dean uses the term. I think that's new terminology that I had to learn too. Let's go to the next person. If you're on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. If you're on TikTok, tap that screen. It'll help get out to more people. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Hello?
How old are you?
I'm 35.
Do you support Donald Trump?
No, I don't.
Nice. Let's go to the next person. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates, everybody. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed here on the TikTok screen. Yo, what's up? How old are you? Yo, what's up? Okay. Let's go to the next person. Only send a guest request again if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. If you're on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. If you're on TikTok, tap that screen, everybody. Yo, what's up? How old are you? Okay. Let's go to the next person, everybody. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
32.
Do you support Donald Trump?
I do.
Okay, if you could go back in time and you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris, who'd you rather vote for?
Donald Trump.
Okay, why so?
I believe when it comes to Kamala and Donald Trump, Donald Trump is, he's already shown that he's been the president and he did well his first term, in my opinion. And when it comes to Kamala Harris, she has no experience of being president. So in that case, it's like somebody that has experience in law enforcement applying for a job and somebody else with teaching experience. You're going to pick the person that applying for a job to be a cop with the law enforcement experience.
Okay, so therefore, can I ask you this question? Who do you think should have won in 2016? Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump?
Donald Trump.
Okay, but he didn't have any qualifications and she was the one with political experience. So if you vote based upon, again, who has the qualifications relating to that particular job in terms of experience, well, then you would have supported Hillary Clinton over Donald Trump. But you didn't give a shit about qualifications. So why would you only apply it in this context and then not acknowledge any of the other political experiences that Harris had?
Oh, well, there was a lot of bad publicity connected to Hillary Clinton. There's neither confirmed or denied. But with that publicity, it's kind of scary knowing that, like, Hillary Clinton, like, the publicity was like, she's got ties, she can make you disappear, things of that nature. Kind of like, I don't know if that somebody that can make you disappear should be president. You know what I mean?
Okay, so again, specifically, if you want to reference the qualifications, again, she's more qualified. Therefore, under your view, you consider her a better candidate, right?
Yeah, in that context, for sure.
Okay. So then if you consider her a better candidate, well, then obviously wouldn't you say that she would be more preferable to vote for?
Not with the publicity she had.
What publicity?
Like I said, like if you were against her, she can make you disappear.
If what? What do you mean? I'm confused how this is relevant to like how you'd vote. What?
Like you didn't hear about?
Have I talked to you before?
Yeah.
Okay.
But like not today though.
Okay, well, just letting you know, I only have people come up who have never been on before. I am just looking for some new debates, everybody, just letting you know. I thought I'd recognize you as soon as you turned on your webcam. Yo, what's up, how old are you?
48.
Do you support Donald Trump?
California, Trump support. Oh, yeah. Well,
okay.
Just conservative supporter, but Trump's a conservative right now, so yeah.
If you could go back in time and you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris, who would you rather vote for?
Trump.
Okay, why so?
The Democrat Party, you're not old enough to know because you weren't alive then, but the Democrat Party has radicalized quite a bit. And, I voted for Obama first term and then left. And if you look at what the party was, it was actually a pretty cool party. Like a lot of the foundations that are easy to support, like tough on crime and borders, like having secure borders, that was all something that Democrats all supported at one point. And it was easy to get behind, right? And they also were more, about fiscal responsibility. And, that's easy to get behind. And some of the civil rights stuff, it was easy to get behind. But if you look at the party now, it's radicalized. And I think that, the Democrat Party is shedding off people. And I know you're going to probably smile on this, but I think eventually you're going to probably, just like me, you're going to end up leaving the Democrat Party. I think Dean's going to leave eventually. And I think that, and this is just my opinion, is that I think that you got, and this might, I'm not trying to offend you, I'm not, but I think you got an kind of eye-opener when Charlie Kirk was unalived, because I did come to your feed and you were, and I'm not dogging you for this, but you were crying on it, right? And so was Dean, and that's okay. But the one thing that I saw of you that I did respect, and I'm just being honest here, is that you saw the comments from the Democrats and your followers. And wait, hang on, let me finish, and then I'll let you finish.
Actually, I would prefer not to. Actually, like genuinely, you're talking about a time where like I would just traumatized from, because like I was 30 to 40 feet away from it when it happened. So
no, I get it. I'm not dogging you.
Not to talk about that. Could we go on to the topics related to the live?
Yeah. So it does. So it is what I'm telling you is that the party has radicalized, like quite a bit, and so even for like people like you who saw that and said like, dude, I don't like this. I don't like the optics of this.
Yeah,
right.
How about this? I'm going to be a little bit more enforcing with my borders. Can we talk about things specifically relating to the topic, please?
Yeah, I'm telling you why I support Trump, and I'm supporting Trump because I think the Democrat Party has radicalized. I mean, look, think about it like this. Do you think that during let's say the Bill Clinton era, do you think that people were like Democrats were pushing like trans issues and making that like a top priority, or making soft on criminal stuff, or talking about like open borders and allowing tons of, no, that was not what the Democrats were about. But that is what their policies are now. And here's the problem. And this is gonna address exactly what your screen says right above you. Why do you support Trump? The Democrat Party right now is the anti-Trump party, and Trump is gone in 3 years. And when he leaves, you are going to be stuck with your policies. So that's why the whole party, that's the problem. You can't have a debate about policies without mentioning Trump. That's not just you. That's the mainstream media. You can't talk about policies. You can't talk about, the question I ask all the time, like, okay, you want to take care of people in the ER. Okay, that's great. I love that. How many? Because there's more people that want to come into the United States than live in the United States. So what's the cutoff point in which Americans shouldn't be obligated to pay for people's ER bills that are coming across the border, right? I mean, that's how you talk about policy. But you can't do that. I mean, everything I see is like Trump. You can't have an argument. The Democrats are all anti-Trump. Everything they talk about is Trump. It's like they're obsessed. And I'm like, he's gone in 3 years. What are you going to talk about in 3 years? Trump? That's why I don't support the Democrat Party.
Okay, so there's a few things to talk about in relation to this. The reason why we talk about Donald Trump is because he's literally the president of the United States. And the reason why conversations about him are relevant is because he's literally the president of the United States. And when we talk about policies, we compare the different presidential candidates and what their specific policies are about. This would be like me saying that people who are on the right can't talk about policies without mentioning the other side, because in politics, we compare both sides' policies and we see which ones we agree with more. So obviously we're going to talk about the presidential candidate in terms of talking about policies. Now, in terms of Donald Trump, our policies disagree with Trump's. So we're making our policies distinct from Trump's, right? And we're showing how they're antithetical to it. These conversations, why do you support Trump, are going to be, why do you support the other Republican candidate in the future? Okay, he's currently the Republican candidate, currently the president, and that's going to carry over into who's selected for the next candidate in terms of the Republican Party, because MAGA ideology is incredibly important in the party right now. So that's why these conversations are relevant to, again, the future of politics and these different types of conversations. Secondly, you're talking about like fiscal responsibility. Like Democrats are more fiscally responsible than Trump was, like in this last term and this upcoming term, this one right now, in comparing the campaign plans. And then if you want to talk about tough on crime, Trump's literally convicted criminal who pardoned violent rioters who beat police officers on January 6th. So Democrats are definitely more tough on crime.
Okay, so let's talk about that. That's a good policy to talk about. So do you believe that when one party attacks federal United States officers, that warrants bringing in United States military to protect the United States federal officers? Do you believe that?
Say that one more time, sorry?
If United States federal officers are being attacked by one party, does that warrant bringing in the U.S. military to protect those federal officers?
Circumstantial, depends on how much. Like,
okay, I'm just asking. So
on January 6th,
that was a few hours. That lasted like 4 hours. So let's talk about something that doesn't stop. Here's the thing. Donald Trump asked for the National Guard to come in and they got rejected, right? You can say, no, he didn't. But he was not opposed to having...
Who rejected it? Who had the authority to reject it?
Nancy Pelosi. You can say no, she didn't.
That's been debunked and disproven for a while. Right. There's no evidence indicating that.
How long did January 6th last?
Nancy Pelosi did not have the authority to limit this from happening.
How long did January 6th last? Give me hours. I'm talking about the part where you would consider it a riot, right? So let's just say, how long do you think it lasted?
I wouldn't be able to give you the exact time elapsed.
Was it days? Was it hours or days?
Hours.
Okay, hours. Did the people, did they have to bring in the military, anybody, to make those people leave, or did they leave on their own accord?
I think they left after their cult leader told them to leave.
Okay, yeah, exactly.
Wait, hold up. Let's acknowledge the points that are relevant. Trump said, fight like hell, take back the country from those that stole it from you, right? And then pardon the violent rioters who beat police officers, and he called them patriots.
He said protest peacefully.
Well, then why did he pardon the violent rioters who beat police officers?
How long were they in jail for?
Does that matter? He pardoned them, not...
how much time do you serve? I'm just asking you a question. How much time do you serve? Because we're going to get to that point next.
That would have been 4 years, right?
Okay, so 4 years. So people spent 4 years in prison for...
People who assaulted police officers.
And hey, right, exactly. So let's look at the 2020 Democrat riots, right? And let's talk about how long...
Before we do, can I finish my point? Before you shift the conversation?
Yeah.
We're talking about Donald Trump pardoning, okay? So again, if you're talking about this, he could have commuted the sentence. If he specifically thought the sentence was too long, he could have commuted it. He specifically pardoned them, which gets rid of all of the charges and crimes on the record.
Well, do you feel that some of those people, do you think everybody that was put in there was justified how much time they were serving?
What did you say?
Do you think that everybody that, got their sentence, do you think that, I totally agree that some of those people deserve the sentence they got, but do you think all the people that were in there, the people that literally walked in there and, were basically escorted in by the police, there were some of those people were actually escorted in, and now they're coming to, now there's Now we're coming to find out there was a lot of FBI agents.
Give me 30 seconds.
All right.
All right, I'm back.
Yeah. So
arguing?
No, I wasn't arguing. So my thing is, my point was is that let's say, so back to my point. So let's say I agree that with you. I will agree that some of the, well, I just said like, so now we're finding out that there was actually FBI agents there, and if we look at what happened in Michigan,
Wait,
I mean, do you think
it's who was in office?
Trump was.
Yeah. So whose FBI was that?
Well, do you think that? Well, do you think the people?
Hold on.
I mean, he had people.
Answer the question.
I know.
Whose
Wait,
FBI
I know that
was that?
Well, it was his for sure. But
so Trump's own FBI.
Yeah, but he also had people that were in on that were not really for Trump. Would you agree that everybody in the FBI was for Trump at that point?
Wait, so okay, so your point was that people who didn't like Trump, a part of the FBI, were FBI informants under a legitimate operation controlled by the FBI, which was under the Trump administration, so they would have known about this. So either it's a legitimate operation or it's an illegitimate operation.
So you're saying that there were no. So just you're on the record that there was no FBI
saying they're
agents
FBI
there.
informants, but they were operating illegally, right? Is that your view?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
so they were
let me ask you
liberals
this.
under the Trump administration, under the Trump's FBI. Let's also, he just got violated for community guidelines. Also, what he's not taking into account is that, again, Trump still pardoned the violent rioters, and he pardoned everyone that was there. So then he must have pardoned some of these liberal FBI informants. And also, they didn't know this under the first term. That's interesting. Travis, thank you for the $1. Thank you so much, Travis. I really appreciate it. Lori, thank you so much for the $100 on PayPal. Give me some W's for Lori in the comment section right now. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that, Lori. Thank you so much. Dara, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $10. Thank you so much. Isabella, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. $20. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Shout out to Audrey. Absolutely. Absolutely. Cam, thank you for the $10. Thank you so much. Cora, thank you for the $2. Natalie with the $10. Thank you. And again, can we get some W's in the comment section for Lori? Thank you so much. Lori, I really appreciate it. Let's go on to the next person here real quick. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates. I'm going to get someone up here, and then we're going to go on to the next, or go say thank you to some people on YouTube as well. If you're on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. If you're on TikTok, tap that screen. Yo, what's up? How old are you? How old are you? Okay, let's go to the next person. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Hey, what's up? I'm Jeremy.
Do you support Donald Trump?
No, my question has nothing to do with that, actually.
Okay. Let's go to the next person. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates, everybody. Yo, what's up? How old are you? Okay, let's go on the next person. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Oh, sorry, wrong button.
Oh, you're good. Don't worry. Let's go on the next person, everybody. Only send a guest request again if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. Again, everyone, we are just looking for some debates. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Parker, I'm taking a shit right now.
Let's go on the next person. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. Yo, what's up? How old are you? Yo, what's up? How old are you? Okay. Let's go on the next person. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates, everybody. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Yo!
How old are you?
I'm 18.
Do you support Donald Trump?
No, I do not.
Okay. All right, let's go on the next person. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates, everybody. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
21. You like Star Wars, bro?
Do you support Donald Trump?
Yeah.
Okay, if you could go back in time and you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris, who would you rather vote for?
I'll vote for Trump still.
Okay, what's your birth year?
04.
What month?
August, bro.
Okay. So why do you support Trump?
Because he's taking all the immigrants out of the United States.
Okay. Why so? Why do you support that?
Why wouldn't you? They came here
I think
illegally.
that immigrants make the country better off.
As long as he keeps big booty Latinas.
Okay, let's go to the next person. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. Yo, what's up? How old are you? Let's go to the next person. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates, everybody. Yo, what's up? How old are you? Let's go to the next person. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates, everybody. Modern, thank you so much for the $10. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much for the $10 on PayPal. Let's go on the next person, everybody. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
18.
Do you support Donald Trump?
Yep.
What's your birth year?
September 28, 2007.
Okay. And if you could go back in time and you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris, who would you rather vote for?
Donald Trump.
Why so?
Probably because he's good at golf. He almost broke 50 with DeChambeau.
Okay. No. What's your actual reason?
I mean, that's a pretty solid reason, in my opinion.
Okay. Let's go to the next person, everybody. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates, everybody. Only send a guest request again if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. Again, everybody, we are just looking for some debates. So please, everyone, again, only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Yo, what's up?
How old are you?
19.
Do you support Donald Trump?
Is my parlay gonna hit?
Do you support Donald Trump?
No, but is my parlay gonna hit?
So the next person, only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Hi, how you doing? I'm 37.
Do you support Donald Trump?
100%.
Okay. If you could go back in time and you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris, who would you rather vote for?
I would definitely vote for Donald Trump again, over and over and over.
Okay. You're a little bit far away from the mic. Is there a way you can get a little bit closer? And why would you support Donald Trump?
Because that's gonna sound sexist, but I don't think a woman can deal with all this BS going on in America. It's 50.
I can't really hear you. Is there a way you can get a little bit closer to the microphone?
What about now? Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, go ahead and try again.
There is so many reasons I don't want to vote for Kamala Harris. One of the reasons is like she support. I don't want to be canceled or anything. I believe in family or mother, father, and kids, right? So when you listen to Kamala Harris, keep portraying all this LGBTQ, whatever, that's my believing. I think I will never go for him. And one other thing that Kamala Harris said.
What is specifically Kamala Harris saying or doing, right, that you disagree with in relation to the LGBTQ plus community?
I'm gonna tell you one thing that actually not really Kamala Harris. I think that was Obama's wife when he was supporting Kamala Harris. She was supporting out Kamala Harris and saying that in her campaign, say, "Who are we to tell our children what to love and who they wanna be?" And I think parents are like guardians for the kids, right? So if we can do that, if we nobody to tell them who to love, who to be with, let's say let them vote too. Let them carry guns. You know,
What?
that
I'm
one
sorry.
it's like
I'm sorry.
destroying the family.
Saying allow kids to have crushes is different than allowing them to have a gun. How is that the same?
I mean, listen, he said, who are we to tell our kids who to love and who to be?
I'm sorry. Did you? You just compared, right? Children having access to guns to children having crushes. on other kids in their class.
I didn't. You mentioned the gun part, right? But I was not mentioning the gun part because the gun part doesn't mean that's not what I'm mentioning. You're mentioning it because you think that's the most important for you. Don't deviate what I'm trying to say. The one I want to say actually. The one I want to put point on is actually family. Family actually is more important. Every single one of us, if the country can actually be destroyed, have all the delinquency out there, it's just because these kids was not raised in a family. So now when you try to destroy family tell the kids, that's a sign of destroying family.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Kids with parents that are gay have the same outcomes in terms of their development, if not better, on average. Did you know that?
I don't know that. Where you get that statistic from?
Yeah, there is actually a bibliography in my bio that you can check out, where specifically I cite studies relating to this. There's a bibliography in my bio, a sources document in my bio, if you'd like to check it out in my link tree.
Probably gonna take a minute and go look it up. However, I didn't look at your bio.
If you'd like to go do that, because that's actually really important.
Okay, great. But however, destroying family like that, understand that we wouldn't have me if a man and a woman didn't get together and have kids, right? You and I, we wouldn't be here, right? Do you agree with that?
You understand that there are a lot of people that exist today because of gay relationships as well, because of IVF?
Okay, now we're talking about something that just for the past 4 or 5 years, they're talking about these things. And I don't even know those kids that were born from IVF, you got the same outcome as people that was born biologically.
There are people in the chat who are born out of IVF.
Okay, once again, I don't know yet, because those people that was born to IVF, I don't know them. I don't know if they're gonna be like everybody. I don't have experience with them, but I know the natural way to have kids. It's a father and a mother, and get into bed and do the thing and let it pop in. That's what I know.
Okay, so here's my question then: what specific policy of Kamala Harris's do you disagree with?
I disagree with the fact that she thinks that, the LGBTQ precisely.
So
but if I'm going to talk about policy, there is so many of them. I'm going to have to think about it, but there is so many of them that I'm actually outside working right now. I don't have my head straight, but there is so many policies that I can bring up that Kamala Harris that will make me never vote someone like that.
Such as?
I don't have one on top of my head right now, but there's so many.
Would you like to go do the research and then come back later on a different time?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, for sure. Appreciate you coming up. Let's go on to the next person, everybody. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates, everybody. Just looking for some debates. Amanda, thank you so much for the $22 on Venmo. Thank you so much. And Lorraine, thank you so much for the $25. Give some W's for Lorraine in the comment section, and Amanda as well. Thank you so much. Give some W's for them in the comment section. Let's go on to the next person here real quick. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. Again, everybody, we are just looking for some debates. Please only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. Barbara, thank you for the $25 on YouTube Super Chat. Thank you so much, Barbara. I really appreciate it. Kenzie, thank you so much for the $10. Thank you. Sarah, thank you for the $5. Thank you. But thank you, Kenzie. Good to see you. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
I'm 18.
What's your birth year?
February 24th, 2005.
That math does not make sense at all. Yo, it's okay. Let's go to the next person. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Hi.
How old are you? Okay. Ryan, thank you for the $5. Thank you. I'm confused what you mean, Ryan. Let's go on to the next person. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates. Thank you for the hat mustache. Thank you. Yo, what's up? How old are you? Yeah, what's up? How old are you? Okay, let's go to the next person. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates, everybody. We're just looking for some debates. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Hey Parker, I'm 19. Can you hear me?
What state do you live in?
I'm New Zealand. I'm just saying hi.
Oh, what's good? What's good? Let's go to the next person. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates, everybody. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
23.
Do you support Donald Trump?
Yes.
What's your birth year?
April 17, 2002.
You said what?
April 17, 2002.
Okay. If you could go back in time and you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris, who would you rather vote for?
Trump.
Okay, why so?
Well, first of all, before we start the conversation, I'd like to get your view on abortion.
Okay, what
Your
about
stance.
abortion?
Just like what your overall stance is.
Well, I'm pro sentient life. Like, I think that it's going to be valuable after the point of sentience. So I'm cool with like Roe versus Wade being in place because I think that's pretty close to that.
I mean,
I prefer Kamala Harris's abortion policy. I think that's great.
So how would you, if you were to be put in power, how would you legalize sentient life?
Have I debated you before?
No.
No? Okay.
People are saying it's a voice changer. I just have a sore throat, so I don't know.
No, that's okay at all. I genuinely think it sounds like I've talked to you before. Sorry, what were you saying?
Sorry, I'm also cooking dinner, if that's what the noise in the background. How would you value or legalize sentient life?
Well, I'm okay with Roe versus Wade being in place.
Okay, well, the reason why I asked you that question is because I've been in your lives multiple times. I've heard your stance, and there is no scientific consensus on sentience.
Most neuroscience papers indicate around 20 through 24 weeks.
Right, and I've seen 18 weeks. I've seen, let me just ask you this, I guess, hypothetical. So would you say you would go up, let's say there was a room of brain dead patients, would you go up to them and basically like unalive them?
No, I would say that would be the family that can determine, and specifically like...
Right, no, but under your view, do you think it's wrong for someone to go in and unalive brain dead patients?
I mean, if it's someone that was an individual that was a part of their family, then they would have
No, let's say they weren't a part of the family. Let's say they just like walked into a room full of brain dead people and they just like slapped them or unalived them or began to, hurt them in any way, shape, or form. Would you think that's okay under your view?
Without consent or jurisdiction from the family, I would think that's wrong.
Why is that? Because I think the reason why I asked this because I've heard your view on the So what's the what's the difference there?
They already had a past subjective experience.
So you value you value only past subjective experiences, not future.
If they've asserted preferences or have asserted preferences on like the conditions for like the context of a family, I think that the family should be able to make a determination in that context. Secondly, I would think the same thing would be true for dead bodies as well, because they had a past subjective experience and they asserted preferences, particularly on the conditions of what to do specifically with their body. I think that there would still be like a right specifically on like what specifically to do in terms of how to treat like dead bodies.
Why is everyone saying it's JJ? Who's JJ?
I definitely don't think it is.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, that kid. Yeah, no, I'm not him. I could turn my camera on if. Anyways, yeah. Wait. So sorry, I didn't really get that point there. So you're saying So how is that logically consistent with your zygote stance?
No, they haven't had a past subjective experience before, so they have no.
So you only okay, that's what it was. Okay, so you don't value future subjective experiences.
I do, in so long as that there's a past or a present already established.
So if there were no past or present established, you wouldn't value the future subjective experience?
No, not to the extent that we would in terms of personhood.
No, I know you. Obviously, you would. I mean, under your view, but I'm saying like if there were like, okay, I kind of see your point there. I mean, I just don't. I think it's logically and scientifically inconsistent to value life at sentience because, like I said, there is no scientific consensus, even though there are studies showing.
So you agree scientific consensus is the basis for science to be true?
Right, but there is no set.
So then to clarify, you must say that science is incredibly important when talking about who to vote for the president of the United States, right?
Are we pivoting here, or I'm confused with your point is?
No, I'm bringing it, back to the conversation of what we're having. Are you saying what you were talking about wasn't relevant to the topic?
It was.
Okay, so can I bring it back to the topic?
Sure.
Yeah, so like, would you say that science is related to like what you care about when voting for president, correct?
In certain cases and scenarios, sure.
And only in certain cases?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't think science is a feasible argument when I'm discussing immigration.
Sure, but like if like a certain candidate denies science, like says the climate's going to start cooling and science just doesn't know it yet, and that windmills are causing whales to die in numbers never seen before with no scientific evidence, saying that Tylenol usage during pregnancy causes autism when a study indicates that there's no association between Tylenol
right, so just as there, I mean,
and autism after taking into account siblings and genetics and family.
So just as there is a lot or scientific inefficiencies to directly prove that Tylenol point. I mean, I could say the same thing about your sentience point. Like there is no consistent argument.
There are studies that indicate that sentience.
I understand there are studies.
Most studies indicate that. The overwhelming level of evidence indicates that.
No, I mean, but that does not mean that there's a consensus. I do understand that there's studies that acknowledge that.
There's overwhelming evidence, correct?
No. I don't believe that. No, there is not overwhelming evidence, so and that's practically impossible to prove when a being can. What do you mean? No, you're denying science.
Impossible. No, it's not.
It is because scientists say that it's hard to.
You're using prove in a different context. You're using prove as certain. No one's making a claim of certainty.
No, prove. I'm not saying certain. You prove in trial.
Most probable sense. Like in a most probable sense, yeah. In a most probable sense, it is proven.
Explain how. I'm really like finding it. So do you acknowledge or respect scientific consensus?
Yes, I do, but that doesn't mean it's the only basis for science. Like I can establish things to be true in the context of science without consensus.
Like what? Give me another example.
Consensus is a very good determination for it being true, though.
I think it should be the first determination. But can you give me an example where you wouldn't use that determination?
Where consensus wouldn't necessarily matter?
Yeah, or if you look at any other methodology that you would use to validate any sort of scientific claim.
Prior to consensus being formed. Like literally, like about the usage of vaccines and different types of medicines, right? Especially if they're specialized into certain industries, there might not be consensus on a certain sort of mechanism to use, right? So there is obviously going to be a determination that a doctor can make in terms of what is the best route that you could undergo, considering the fact that, again, we don't have a 100% certain determination or a consensus in the field.
Okay, so I mean, let me just ask you this question. I'm really trying to get down to like the philosophical, just to your understanding of this.
I understand.
So if you were to look at a house,
I would love to be able to have a conversation about something relevant to the topic at this point. I would love to do that.
So I agree with Trump's stance on abortion.
Okay, so let's have a conversation about which one leads with your position better. So why is it preferable, given that it still allows for abortion to occur?
Because I think it's very hard to.
I can't hear you. Cut out.
Can't hear me. Sorry, it might be my fan. Yeah, I think it's very hard to federally get rid of abortion, especially that quickly. I think it would have to gradually take its course. I don't think you can just. I think it would be a little bit too radical to just vindicate it. I think there are certain scenarios where abortions are okay. But in the same sense, I do think it'd be very hard to, get it passed in courts and everything like that just to completely make it illegal.
Okay, so you just think it's not viable to get to the point of Trump, but you think it's better that he reduces access to abortion, correct?
But I think you reduce it gradually until you can fully make it legal.
So then how do you feel that abortions have increased since Roe versus Wade was overturned, and so has maternal mortality?
Well, so my argument doesn't mean that abortions will overall end. I don't think leaving it up to the states would mean that it would end. It would just mean that if someone has an abortion in, let's say, New Jersey, and it's illegal in New Jersey, they could just go over to New York and get it done. But in terms of the legal system, I just don't think you're able to answer your question. I don't think you're able to just outrightly make it illegal. In the 4 years that he's in office.
Distinct from that context, it's led to more abortions occurring. It's led to a higher maternal mortality rate. It hasn't specifically, followed through with the goal that you had to reduce abortion. I think one of the best ways to do that would be to increase people's ability to be able to take care of children, right? So you still maintain people's choice to be able to do so. You can just change the conditions in which people choose to have access to abortions by saying, we're going to provide better social programs for people to be able to take care of kids, given that they do have them. Right, that would incentivize people.
So I really don't understand,
because it is the case that they would then be able to take care of them to a greater extent.
I don't understand your stance on you believing that we should invest into social programs for people to be able to look after their kids, but yet you're also in agreement with getting rid of these said children.
No, I think people should have the choice to be able to get access to an abortion. That doesn't necessarily mean like I would want people to get abortions when they don't want them.
Okay,
right?
and also
think about it this way, right? A lot of the cases I'm talking about are people who wouldn't get an abortion otherwise, but are getting an abortion because they can't take care of the kid. So I'm just telling you that there are programs that wouldn't get abortions otherwise. So I'm saying that you can engage in policies that aren't restrictive policies, but they're meant to provide people access to basic necessities that they need. Actually create conditions for reduction in abortion through voluntary means.
There are programs that are available if you can't take care of the kid. I don't think getting rid of the kid or the child or the baby is killing it unjustly. I don't think that's right. There's other ways to go about it.
Well, the reality is that the context of the programs that exist right now isn't the best for what people would like to leave their children with. And secondly, oftentimes people
well, why does that matter?
Even considering all of these connotations, people still would choose to get abortions to a lesser degree, given that they had a greater ability to be able to take care of the kid. And that's just a reality, regardless of whether or not specifically they're able to go through the context of an adoption program. They are specifically more likely to.
Just because it's a reality doesn't mean it's justly right. I really don't. I think that's a silly argument.
I'm not saying. I'm just telling you specifically the conditions that will lead to less of.
I understand that, but that's
and through non-restrictive means.
I do understand that, but I think just because it's reality doesn't mean we should let it continue to take its course. Just because it's reality that people may look at a fetus or whatever the case may be and say, I would much rather unalive this person than let it live and let it be in the hands of another human being. I think that's pretty sick, honestly.
Well,
I don't think that's right at all.
That what I think is sick is you removing people's access to an abortion for a non-sentient embryo and or zygote who literally, if you had an abortion, would never have a subjective experience ever.
Well,
the fact that
you can't use an internal critique on your own point.
Can I
I wouldn't like you to, I've been respectful. You're kind of just strawmanning my argument.
To cut me off in the middle of my statement every time.
Oh, okay, you can go on, but I think you're strawmanning my argument, but you can continue.
I wasn't. I was just telling you I don't
value sentience at all. Your point was an internal critique on your own stance. I don't value sentience. So I value life of conception.
Okay. So I'm not doing it specifically as an internal critique to my own perspective. That wouldn't make any sense. I brought it up to specifically highlight the fact that you overlook things such as the subjective experience of the pregnant individual and what they have to go through and the bodily autonomy that they're losing out on specifically in the fact that you're looking at specifically a non-sentient embryo and zygote, right? I brought that up because other people like myself and people in the live stream care about that. And I'm showing the absurdity of your worldview when I talk about it.
So you're saying you acknowledge science, but your stance is based off of philosophical stances. It's not like a scientific consensus.
Morals are predicated off of your psychological preferences. They're not based upon specifically like a scientific determination. Scientific determinations are for like observational claims, things that happen in reality, right? Descriptive claims, not prescriptive
so I think moral concern that just opens the door, which I think was what you're doing right now. That's a slippery slope. It opens the door to devaluing like human life based on ability or awareness. It's practically a form. It's practically a form of. Can I finish my point? It's practically a form of discrimination at that point.
Do you think it's murder to pull the plug on an individual in your family that's brain dead?
No, because you're letting life take. You're letting nature. Can I finish my point? Can I finish my point? No, because you're letting nature take its course. You're not. You're letting nature take its course when you don't.
Exactly. So for example, right, if you were to specifically take the fetus out, you'd be okay with that if you just let it sit there and die because you're just letting nature take its course, right?
You taking the fetus out is a natural procedure.
Okay, so then specifically, do you think it's a natural procedure to keep someone on medical services to keep them alive who's brain dead?
No, I don't have. That's not my point. Your point. You asked me if I were to unalive someone or pull someone off the plug, and that process itself is letting nature take its course.
Okay, so if you're talking about a fetus specifically that needs life support in order to survive, if you don't specifically, if they're outside of the womb, right, and it is the case that they need life support to survive, if you were to take them off of life support and let nature take its course, right, and you don't provide them anything that they need, would it be murder under your view?
Is that an actual? Before I answer that, has that happened before? Is there a case where that's happened?
Yes, you understand that.
Okay.
There are viable. What's it called? Fetuses that if you don't give them medical services, they will die, but they're viable given the usage of medical services.
Okay, and repeat the question again. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So again, specifically in terms of this, I can play back. It was 1 second. A procedure to keep someone on medical services to keep them alive who's brain dead?
No, I don't have. That's not my point. Your point. You asked me if I were to unalive someone or pull someone off the plug, and that process itself is letting nature take its course.
Okay, so if you're talking about a fetus specifically that needs life support in order to survive, if you don't specifically, if they're outside of the womb, right, and it is the case that they need life support to survive, if you were to take them off of life support and let nature take its course, right, and you don't provide them anything that they need, would it be murder under your view?
That's hard to say. I mean, and look, I guess I just want enough on this here. I do respect your stance and whatnot, but I just want to be clear on your point. I mean, so you're acknowledging like biology and what science says life begins at conception, but at the same time, you're saying you don't morally value the fetus until it becomes sentient. And to me, that's basically like saying or admitting that like a house is visibly like structurally built, but like
you cut out. I couldn't hear you. Hello? What just happened? I can't hear him at all. I hear Trump. What the hell?
Oh.
Okay, I hear you now.
Hello?
Yeah, what's up?
Oh, okay, sorry. I guess you're just connected to my car. My brother must have just pulled in. Yeah, I was saying, yeah, I mean, I think you've visibly said it. I'll let you move on after this. You said that you recognize biology and science and agree that life begins in conception. but at the same time, you're saying you don't morally, value the fetus until it's sentient. And my example that I was just given there was that it's like, looking at a house that's visibly built, but then, insisting that the house isn't really a house until the lights are on, which I think is kind of silly to say.
I think there's a huge
why does that
between
make sense?
just lights being on a house and the distinction between that and the house with lights on and off versus subjective experience or no subjective experience. Wouldn't you be saying the same thing? Wouldn't you be saying that it's not a house once you turn the lights off then because you specifically think that an individual that's brain dead isn't a person anymore? Right? And they specifically
No, that's like if you were to use my point. No, if you were to use my point, that's like saying the lights and everything, like the circuits and everything are running, but the lights are off. Like I would still look at that house and say that it's a house. If you were to use my point to be
okay, so then it'd be murder to pull the plug on an individual in your family that's brain dead.
No, because it's still a house if the lights are off.
Okay, so then you do think it's murder, right?
No, I don't think it's murder.
But it's still cellular life.
Right. But I don't get your point. What do you mean?
Yeah, you said that me saying that like a zygote isn't valuable is like saying a house with the lights off isn't a house. Well, then you specifically saying that a brain dead individual, right, isn't granted personhood, it's not murder to pull the plug on them, would then essentially mean under your view that you think that it's not murder to pull the plug on an individual that would meet the criteria of just like the house being there, but without the lights on, because again, they don't have subjective experience. Your comparison is subjective experience is equivalent to the lights.
No, I think you're just you're misunderstanding my analogy there. The house basically is representing like the moral ground in that sense, but I'll just let you move on to another guest if you want.
All right, for sure. Right, let's go to the next person. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates. If you're on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. If you're on TikTok, tap that screen. It'll help get it out to more people. We are just looking for some debates. Alrighty, everybody. Let's go on to the next person here real quick. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. If you want to support me, as always, Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, Linktree in the bio, as well as the description of the YouTube, as well as you can support me over YouTube Super Chat, everybody. Just letting everyone know. Let's go on to the next person here real quick, everybody. Only send a guest request, again, if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen, everybody. We are just looking for some debates. Alrighty.
Hey, can you hear me?
How old are you?
30.
Do you support Donald Trump?
Yes.
Okay. If you could go back in time and you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris, who would you rather vote for?
Trump.
Okay. Why so?
Well, I'm a Christian, so of course, you already know our posture for a lot of the topics regarding government.
Okay. What about being Christian?
It comes down as well to the moral, and I think it's a simple rule of treat others as you would like to be treated.
Okay, so let's start with this. So you said it's related to your morals, treat others the way that you want to be treated. So then, you definitely don't support Donald Trump because he was held civilly liable for sexual abuse. He bragged about walking into the changing rooms of naked women while they were changing without their consent while they were naked, right? And an 18-year-old came out and said there were 4 girls as young as 15 years old. He said he would date a 10-year-old girl in 10 years. He called his daughter voluptuous, which means curvy and sexually attractive. He said he had sex in common with his daughter. He said yeah to Howard Stern calling his daughter a piece of ass. And he said he'd be dating his own daughter if it wasn't his daughter. And he cheated on every single one of his wives. So would you specifically say that, that's Christ-like and that's upholding your moral system?
Of course, I understand everything that you're saying, but the thing here is that we cannot reduce millions of other people to just the president, right? That's obvious. Sorry, it's because I'm here with other person. Sorry for the sound.
Sure, I guess my point is if you don't want this to be associated with Christianity, why vote him into the position of political office like the Oval Office?
Because of the decisions that are involved, and of course it's gonna affect. Sorry, I'm trying to plug in. My phone is about to die. Um, what? It's because I thought I was gonna get it later. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to find my charger. Okay, so the decisions that are being made, it doesn't have to do anything with Trump. It has to do with the millions of people that are gonna affect, that those decisions are gonna affect. Like, there are other presidents that we don't know all the things that they did in their personal life, but they did horrible things that maybe no one knew, and that doesn't matter. The decisions that are taking are affecting other people. That's what the government is.
Okay, so tell
And
me
more
what-
than that, it's also the tax. It's the taxes, the way they use the money of everybody. Yeah, tell me.
Then tell me what specifically Donald Trump did that would make the conditions better off in terms of policy.
I mean, Planned Parenthood. I mean, the thing with abortion, you know, I don't know what's your posture regarding gender ideology. I don't agree with exposing kids. I mean, a kid can tell you one day they want to be a unicorn, and the next day they want to be a astronaut. And I mean, you cannot, and I mean, you cannot girl, then you're a girl, and then we're gonna use puberty blockers and all of that. Like
No,
that,
hold on.
for me, that weighs
let me repeat
more.
because I think maybe you didn't hear me, and only people on the YouTube might have heard me here. Let me repeat. Everyone can
Oh,
hear me
sorry.
on TikTok again.
Yeah, repeat.
Okay, so you said that you essentially can't convince children of anything. They're all over the place, right? One day they want to be an astronaut, the other day they want to be a unicorn and whatnot. So how, through the context of gender ideology, could we convince them to be gay and trans?
No, I'm saying like I don't believe that a kid should be exposed to the idea of choosing a gender. That's what I'm trying to say. That when you're a kid, you're playful. Like you believe everything that people tell you. Like we need to affirm them on.
You're totally okay with them playing pretend and pretending to be like all these different people from TV shows and movies and stuff.
Believe anything. So we should not expose them to, hey, today you want to feel like a girl, okay, then you're a girl, or tomorrow you feel like a boy, tomorrow you're a boy.
That's not the prescription, right? In terms of this, right? People don't just like children, when you tell them that trans people exist, they don't just say randomly that they're trans when they weren't prior. That's not how it works, right?
I mean, everybody has a different process regarding that. I mean, many people were abused. Many people are not trans anymore that get actually because they knew Jesus or they encounter, truth.
I'm sorry, there's nothing in the context of the Bible that says you shouldn't be trans.
Well, it does talk about like homosexuality and lesbian and
being
at
trans,
the end it's not
being
about
trans is not the same as being gay.
The word
and
trans
also it
the
doesn't
word
say that
trans
being
is
gay
not in
is
the Bible.
sinful. It says that engaging in gay intercourse is sinful. So is premarital sex under your view. So is adultery. So is so many different things. And also that I don't think that these prescriptions are good, right? I think that these prescriptions are definitely not good.
What prescription?
Yeah, like, do you think that it's wrong? Do you think premarital sex is wrong?
It's not. It's because here's the thing. I think the phrasing is important. Wrong. You're using the word wrong, and I would use it's not good for you. Like it's not beneficial for no one.
No,
because
but is it
it's
wrong?
very.
Is premarital sex wrong?
Like if you really want my explanation, it's not really that it is wrong. It's that everything comes out of love.
Well then you can't say that being gay is wrong. You can't say that gay intercourse is wrong if you're not willing to say that premarital sex is wrong. Because the only reason that gay intercourse would be considered wrong is because of quote unquote premarital sex, which also we can look at the context of the Bible. There's no prescription that gay people can't get married.
Well, that's the thing. Marriage is made, like a woman and a man. So, yeah.
In the Bible, it says that gay people should not get married. to each other?
Yeah, it's in Revelation. In Revelation, and the thing is that I really don't. I can look it up. Like I'm not good with the numbers, but I'm good with the books. Like I remember where in the book.
For sure, yeah. So where in the book did that happen? Dr. Sonia, thank you so much. Really appreciate the $10. Thank you. Isaiah, thank you for the $2. Happy birthday, Isaiah. Absolutely. Happy birthday.
It says, it's in Revelation. The thing, okay, first of all.
Where in Revelation? Because I've
Revelation
never heard this before.
21:8, it says, but the cowardly, the unbelieving, the vile, the murderers, the sexually immoral, those who practice magic arts, the idolaters, and all liars, they will be consigned to the fiery lake of burning sulfur.
That doesn't say anything to do with specifically that gay people getting married is wrong.
Sexually immoral.
You're assuming that it's quote unquote sexually immoral.
Varones. No, there's another one that specifically says about like men with men and women with women. It's Corinthians. First Corinthians. Yeah. 1 Corinthians 6:9 to 10.
That's a prescription from Paul, not from Jesus.
Yeah, but
also, that doesn't say anything about marriage. That has to do with intercourse, and that could very well be talking about premarital intercourse, right?
Paul didn't. Well, that's fornication, right? Where you're not married. It says that. Do not be deceived, neither the sexually immoral. No. Sorry. It says, what am I? Okay. Where can I find it? Okay. Nor men who practice homosexuality, nor thieves, nor the greedy, nor the drunkards, nor revilers, nor swindlers, etc., will inherit the kingdom of God. First of all, I want to be clear that the kingdom of God is actually just being with Jesus. It's not even about changing behavior. Like he didn't come to do that. He knows that we sin. He knows that. So the thing with goodness and evil.
So here's a few things. One, I don't accept the translation of what you specifically just provided. Secondly, in terms of this, again, this is not a prescription from God, and it's not a prescription about marriage.
Well, I don't understand.
Yeah, this prescription isn't from Jesus, and it's not about marriage. If specifically gay marriage was wrong, why didn't Jesus address it in the New Testament?
Because, I mean, there were cultural differences, which I'm still trying to understand, but Paul was actually killing Christians. The fact that he then became one and was preaching about Christ, which was the person God used to preach to the Gentiles, it's for me, I mean, it only had to be God. So he had an encounter with Christ, with Holy Spirit, when Jesus left, when he resurrected and he left. He said, I'm going to send the Holy Spirit, which was the person that encountered Paul, which, well, his name was Saul, and he literally killed them. And then he became a Christian. Well, he became blind for 3 days. Then he became the apostle to preach to the Gentiles.
Hold up. So if you want to talk about Paul also told people like to not get married, to wait for Jesus to come back, right?
Yeah, I mean that part right there, it wasn't.
So, I mean, should people not get married and?
No, he was saying that because it was his recommendation because of the historic hard times that they were living in. So he would say, hey, just keep serving the Lord. Like marriage
don't get married. So even straight people shouldn't get married.
Yeah, I mean, saying it in a way that it's not, because if you think about it, people think that marriage is the goal of life. Like, I think there's like an idolatry.
Not to Paul.
A lot of people, they want more like a wedding rather than a marriage. That's why there's a lot of divorce happening. Like, they don't understand what true love is. But the point of marriage is to reproduce, to multiply, right? I mean,
there's a lot of people who are married who don't know what true love is because it is the case that they were forced into societal circumstances where they feel like they can't leave.
Saying that they have a bad marriage?
Yeah, there are a lot of people that have bad marriages that specifically stay in loveless marriages because it is the case that they're societally conditioned into thinking that that's the relationship that they have to stay in. even if it doesn't make them happy.
I agree, and I totally agree because I totally agree because I totally agree because